All right, well, I'll go ahead and get the mics rolling while you sip that drink.
I'm gonna sip that drink. Like, all I wanted was get me some Bang energy drink. Ended up going to the fucking grocery store. Like, I'm lucky. The grocery store is only, like, up the block, but, you know, it's still, like, a short car ride. It's like a minute car ride.
Mm-hmm.
But because I went to the grocery store doesn't have Bang energy drink. So I'm like, I am offended because I could have walked 30 seconds to the corner store, got my Bang energy drink. Instead, I had to ride in the car for about a minute and then meander around a grocery store with my friends and housemates for 15 minutes to not get Bang energy drink. And I'm like, God damn it.
Rip.
This injustice is great.
Let's see. How's our sound? We're both about at the same level, so I think it's fine. You were a little soft there, but I'm also kind of soft, so I think maybe it's just...
I'm not like looking I'm not directly at the mic here. Hang on me. Because I realized that I haven't been playing Azur Lane, so I was like, no! I'm trying to work on that right now. So I'm a little distracted.
That's important. You got to do some stuff, get some points, get some cubes. We're going to have an event. It's going to have...
More limited? God fucking damn it.
Yeah. And they're going to be Britain.
Like, how? It's going to be Britain. Oh, no.
Hopefully people's luck will turn around. I went into the guild just to look at it, and I noticed that there were like 4 Sandys in a row, and I'm like, that's a lot of Sandy.
No, I just pulled a Sandy.
Yeah, I know. You were one of them. There were several in a row there, and I was like, okay.
Let me see. What is the guild message? Save sick foxwife. Yeah, no.
I think that can stay for a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, before we get too deep in this, I would just want to remind you that this episode is brought to you by our patrons, like Comics, Qua, and Nestor Flores. And if you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon, so you can get access to episodes early, and other stuff that I say, and things. And just in general, it would really help us out. Because I really need to buy some more underwear, or maybe some shirts.
Wow.
Hey, I'm honest.
Oh, hey, I got 63 cubes. Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of cubes. I only have like 20-something. Though I used up, no, it's more like 30, I think, because I got like a daily or a weekly that gave me like 6 back.
Yeah. You see, ever since I got a Magi, I'm like, I don't need to throw on this. I will, like, spend fucking prototype bullens and get her up to 100.
See, I thought that, but then there was a, one of the New Year's thing was like build 5 ships, and also I was like, I already have a lot of ships that really need prototype bullens. Like, I got quite a few ships that are like capped at like 90. Or poor Minnie, she's capped at like 80, even though I've had her a while. So it's like,
I don't know, maybe it's...
I need to move into some of these.
Yeah, because
I don't like the idea of wasting EXP, and commissions aren't very smart. Like, if you have like a 90 requirement, it'll be like, oh, you have a level 90 ship that can go in this slot, and I'm like, but it won't level up, game. It's like, but it's level 90, so it's optimized. I'm like, alright, fine, fuck it. I'll fix that later.
Yeah, like, I already got, like, a Magi up to her max limit rank, and I still have 4 prototype bullens just chilling in the back.
You have so many.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Where are you getting all these? You only get, like, 1 or 2 for monthly. You can buy a few.
I didn't buy any, because I haven't even bought the fucking one that's in the event shop.
I did. I bought all the bullens that are in the shop. Which reminds me, I really need to dedicate... It might be from PvP. I know you play that a lot more than I do. Though I still need to get back into that.
I also buy them from the fucking regular store, because occasionally they'll pop in there. They occasionally pop in the metal exchange shop. And yeah, the PvP shop. They also show up in there. So that's probably where I'm getting them from.
Because I need to... Since I got Eldridge's costume, I really need to work on unlocking that.
Yeah.
Also, I could use a spare South Dakota. She is at 90 also, so, I could use some more copies. That might be cheaper.
Actually, how many ships do I have at fucking 100 right now? Because I have, let me see.
Maybe a solid row. 4 or 5. Like 5 or 6.
Nope, no Enterprise. I love you, but hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I keep tapping. God damn it, my fat ass thumbs.
The dock is a little finicky with your tapping.
Yep. Let's see, 7, 14. I have 18 SRs at 100.
Wow, that's a lot. I have, like, SR specifically, I have, like, 4?
I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, so one of these are, like...
Otago, and I think Enterprise is 100 now.
I'm actually kind of confused. Okay, well, I take that back. Fucking Ayanami and Z23 and Javelin were retrofitted up to SR, so...
Yeah.
Sandy
my Laffy's working on it.
Yes. San Diego is fucking easy. Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, Sandy is currently consigned to my commission's hell, where she will get.
It's like I actually got her up to level 100, and I have her maxed max enhanced.
Well, yeah. So, well, first of all, because she's gonna have a retrofit one day, and be the first available legendary ship. Which
I find is like kind of ironic and hilarious.
Well, yeah, it's because she's a terrible SR. She's kind of bad, but you have to fix her by retrofits. So, she's not the first legendary ever, but she's the first obtainable one because who is it?
Bismarck.
Bismarck, that's right. Bismarck is data mined as a legendary, but she's not actually available yet.
I cry.
And then it looks like upcoming in CN or JP, Warspite's going to be the second because she's getting a retrofit.
I'm okay with this. I love Warspite.
Yeah,
she's a good sword wife.
She's a good girl. Lots of ships are good. Also, I like a lot of these details are great. Like, do you know why South Dakota has her like Aegis skill and shields?
No, why? Tell me.
Well, in the actual USS South Dakota at I think it was Guadalcanal, was hit by like over a dozen Japanese shells, including hits from battleship main shells, none of which breached the belt, barbets, or turrets, though the superstructure was destroyed. So, it took a lot of punishment and actually was able to let some of the other ships fire because the Japanese ships were engaging the South Dakota, which was not being hurt. So now she's really tanky.
I don't know, there's a lot of skills like that. Like, the HMS Glowworm, it has the skill where basically you can deal damage to other ships by literally, pushing Glowworm into them. You can ram them. Yeah, that's because the HMS Glowworm actually rammed the Kriegsmarine Admiral Hipper. Like, legit, World War II was like, no, we're gonna fucking ram this ship.
Poor Hip.
It's like, that's what I really do enjoy about this game. It's all like a lot of their like additional lines or crate lines or skills are direct reflections on like naval engagement and stuff.
By the way, the reason why this made me want Eldridge also, but you know why Eldridge is electrical? It's because the USS Eldridge was involved in the Philadelphia experiment.
Oh,
where supposedly spooky stuff happened.
Yeah, that's why she's a spooky girl. She's a spooky electric.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, they're just full of all these fun little details that are so engrossing.
This is like, we're probably gonna get into Girls Frontline here in a little bit because boy howdy, we have some thoughts on that.
Arctic.
But like, because we can definitely say that the story in Azur Lane is kind of sparse.
It's chaotic. I kind of settled on this, and I've said this like off mic a couple times, but I realized that Azur Lane really didn't seem to be able to make up its mind on whether or not it wants to do war is hell, everything sucks, cute girls dying terribly, feel bad about your life stories, and adorable slice of life hanging out with the Shikikan, we're gonna go swimming and go to school and have tea stories. So you have both at the same time.
Yeah, like
very like weird.
Like the big events, like the events we're having on now, like
Crimson
the big
Echoes,
ones. Usually
Fallen Wings.
All fucking dark, edgy. It's like, holy shit. But then everything else, like the smaller events, it's like, no, this is slice of life shit. Let's enjoy our time. Like, we're having New Year's right now.
Mm-hmm.
Prince Eugene in a communal getting drunk is the best fucking thing ever. 10 out of 10. I am happy I have this.
There's also lots of fun stuff with the Christmas one. Like, where Enterprise is like, no, I am Santa. You will call me Santa now. Still have Enterprise in that skin, by the way. It's adorable.
Axe is mentioning how the war story is before all the Academy stuff. No, like, apparently
that's a problem. We don't know where stuff is set. I believe that the game has made it clear that your personal copies of Ship Girls who do show up in Slice of Life are not necessarily the same ones as the story. Like, because Crimson Echoes right now is clearly a flashback. It's Kaga flashing back.
And guess what? There's the sirens and stuff, the opposite sea, the mirror sea, is going on right now. Mm-hmm. So during that flashback. So it's like, this war has been going on for a long time, and apparently, like, this whole treaty with the combined fleet is why they're de-escalating their fleets, which is why they have the Red Kaka's being retrofitted into a carrier along with Akagi. Again, I'm going to say
the equivalent of the Washington Naval Trilogy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. There are a couple of other ships which are actually based on that idea of the way the Washington Naval Treaty fucked a lot of stuff up. I think maybe one of the French ships is like repurposed into a couple editions or something. Like, there's a lot of cases where ships were sketched out as one class and then had to be completely overhauled and redesigned as another class. Also, God knows when we're going to get the World of Warships collab. But that's when you get a lot of the experimental ships, because that was based on a lot of like high tier stuff you can actually get in the World of Warships game, which were all so these ships were all sketched out, but they weren't necessarily laid out, kind of thing, similar to Amagi, because the actual IJN Amagi was never properly launched. They had to like partially retrofit her, and then she was damaged in an earthquake. There are a couple of ships which were never launched and basically turned into like floating artillery batteries, stuff like that.
Yeah. Axe also asked, any idea what happened to make Akagi all Yan? I think that's actually kind of hinted at. Something happened and they lost something, and I think it broke Akagi, and only keeping Kaga close has let them stay the course.
I believe there's a secretary mission for Akagi eventually where you get a better look at like her psyche, but I don't think it's out in English yet.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of stuff I'm waiting for. Like,
there's a lot of little details. Also, this makes me wonder if I can run a World of Warships and if I would like it.
I don't know. I have my ship game, so I'm good.
But you're a Navy man. You don't want to command actual battleships and destroyers slugging it out.
No, I've been on ships. You know how terrifying that would be? Ugh.
No, I know it sucks. Ships suck.
But
the ocean's scary.
Yeah. So something that I am very excited about is we're getting an exclusive skin. Well, I wouldn't say skin. We're getting a skin first on.
Yeah, we're getting a premiere.
Yeah, we're getting a premiere first on the English server, which I think is great because that does mean that the Azur Lane company as a whole does consider us to be an equal partner with all the other servers.
Because they've done that before for different stuff in different servers has come at different times as to that server. So what we're getting is it's not New Year's, it's Spring Festival, I guess. It's because it's not the Lunar New Year, but it's also like
it's something.
Chinese
but
themed.
It's a bunch. Yeah, and there are legs for days, and it is glorious. I am sad that I will not have gems for this.
Yeah, because they're all limited. But we're getting our exclusive is Enterprise, we should say. Which makes a lot of sense, because this is America, and it's Enterprise.
So this is something that we can talk about how good Azur Lane's development team is.
Yeah, they are on the fucking ball. And honestly, like we said, with all these limited costumes, they're making their money. It's not like this is not a profitable business strategy. But
it's also, the only thing we're really missing is we're back like a few major events and some collabs and some Smile and some I think some smaller stuff. But we're now getting events the same time as the other servers. I'm just kind of worried of how we're gonna get the events that we don't have.
They'll figure out because they'll do a rerun in Japan or China or something for an event.
Yeah, I think they're gonna rerun the event that has Duke of York in it because they're coming out with a new costume for her.
And we're just now getting our Duke of York event.
Yeah.
Which is good, because I want Duke. Have you seen her? She's like a sexy vampire ship lady.
Yeah, I know. I want to put her with fucking Terror and Vampire. With the monitors.
Do I have Terror or do I have Erebus? I don't remember. I have one of the monitors.
I know. I have both monitors and Vampire. Yes,
I got Vampire. Vampire was easy. Kind of funny. I think Duke also speaks in a similar... Not quite as antiquated as Vampire, but a similar kind of tone.
Axe has mentioned that they want the Fallen Wing ships, Washington or Spec Ops team.
Yeah, I hope that's coming back.
Yeah, that's coming back.
Because I missed, what was it? Not South Dakota, South Carolina.
One Fat Panda mentions that along with Duke of York, we're also going to be getting Sirius. Isn't that a new ship completely?
I think that's for the new event for the rerun. I don't know if we'll get her at the same time, but we might because they do stuff like that. I don't know. So far, I think that the Azur Lane Twitter has only shown off the rares that are coming out. Not that we're against them, but it's still those are the easier ones to obtain. Curlew and
they'll show up
in here somewhere.
I do love that the fucking let's see here. Yeah, so
let's see. Azur Lane EN, great Twitter account.
Yeah.
Curlew and Kurakoa, which are both very interesting names, but they are C-class cruisers, and they are rares. They also had a fun thing where they did some fan art of Hood for Australia Day that they showed off. There's Enterprise's skin, Blooming Peony, which is great because she's got a bow and the eagle and stuff. Oh, they announced that we're finally getting Portland's retrofit, which is great.
Yeah! One Fat Panda says Curlew is in a different event, they think, because York's event is supposed to be later February. I would kind of defer to One Fat Panda in this because he is our Azur Lane senpai here. They are the one that keeps up on all this shit.
I mean, that may have been how it was originally, but I don't know, because the tweets are both still there, and they both say the same date, between 131 and 214, so I don't know. If that was an error, they haven't caught it yet, but currently their Twitter has announced them both at the same time period, so we'll see. I think they've made small errors before, and some funny where they've actually accidentally been, where they're like, oh, whoops, that was the censored art, hold on, let me fix that.
Yeah, I am excited waiting for Portland because she is ready to go. She is level 100.
Portland's always been especially because you do something you can get Indianapolis really early. I don't remember what it was. Was it like is she you get her if you buy gems, or is it some other intro thing? I don't remember. There's something she might have been, but as part of the beginner thing that you can get her as some kind of early quest. So
Saratoga.
Yeah, Saratoga's the one you get for buying gems. But there's definitely a beginner quest you do. You get Indianapolis right away. And then, because Portland is only blue, it's relatively easy to get her. So you can pair those up pretty early. And you can go there. I actually got both of them. You get it eventually. They'll be in drops or something, just randomly.
Again, like, the drop tables in this game are real damn good.
I fill out my backlog of ships. Just you wait a few months and you'll get to them. They'll be in an event or a later story chapter or something, and suddenly you're like, oh, that's new. Hey, that's a new purple, out of nowhere.
It's like right now, like
it's kind of a shame. I don't. Saratoga has retrofit or something that makes her stronger than Lex, which is kind of a disappointment because I like Lexington a lot.
The thing is, like, I like keeping like girls that are like sisters. I like keeping them in the same fleet, even if they don't like quite well mesh together. Because there's some like, not all.
Some of them are functionally identical, except maybe for like retrofit stuff. But a lot of them are. A lot of the good ones, at least, have complementary abilities. Like Kaga and Akagi, I believe, go together. Zikaku and
Hiryu, Soryu,
Shishoku go together. Yeah, Hiryu Soryu is another great team.
Portland, Indianapolis.
I'm
pretty sure there's more, but I can't.
Skarnhorst and
No, they don't.
No, they don't. They're not explicit. They just go well together because they both have the torpedo thing, which is funny.
Yeah,
because
like,
they're
honestly,
BBs,
like
which can shoot torpedoes.
They announced that Dushlin's sister is coming out, and I'm considering like instead of working on the sisters, putting them in because I can't remember her fucking name now.
Whatever.
What's Dushlin's sister's name? Does anyone know?
Which class are we talking about?
She's the one that has the giant claw hands. Like, giant claw hands.
Oh, you're talking about, Dushlin's sister. Hold on, let me go to my list of ships.
Graf Spee. Thank you, One Fat Panda.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Graf Spee. Which I believe is Admiral Graf Spee.
Graf Spee. Yeah, I'm thinking of...
Because I said, like... about Deutschland.
She's good, Civ. I have all her costumes. I'm like, I don't know why I want this summer costume, but I do.
You know why.
But, yeah, so... Because, again, as much as I like tier pits, it's like... Can't do it. Just can't. Give me beta. Give beta. That's something I'm like, again, I will say every fucking time we talk about Azur Lane, when are we going to get research, and when are we going to get beta as the second Iron
give
Blood?
me research. There's so many rad ships. that are like prototypes.
Also, and submarines. I still have no idea what submarines do, but there's something that we don't have. If I understand
correctly, submarines, I don't know if they go in your formation normally, but they have like they float around underwater a lot and they do stuff. Some of them are interesting because they'll do stuff then they like surface with like deck guns, but most of them like shoot torpedoes underwater and stuff. I don't think they engage in combat normally though. But there are quite a few of them and I would love to see them.
Yeah. As I said, there's things like again, talking about like Girls Frontline. Girls Frontline has like had the things for fairies in there for like ever. And like nothing, like I've seen nothing going forth on that. But Azur Lane's like, here, take this, here, take this, here, take this. And they're like, I know that we're going to get research eventually, probably here in the next few months, but I don't know. Yeah. But I think that's enough about Azur Lane, because I want to talk about Girls Frontline and how much like bullshit this map design is.
All right, so we're going to talk about Arctic Warfare. Dear level designers for Girls Frontline, if you can hear me from your increasingly dystopian future that is China, you're bad at your job and should be fired. This is not level design. This is annoyance design. So let's run through the unique qualities of what Arctic Warfare's gimmicks are, because it's not just one gimmick, it's several. Mm-hmm. So first off, one-way paths return. I don't remember which it was one of the last big ones, but I don't remember which event that was. Was that the Studio collab? Arxis? Was it the Arxis collab?
Yeah, it was. It was.
So those were back, which
collab.
is really annoying. It means you have to navigate the maze of all this nonsense. You also have temporary heliports, which only open for like one turn every so many turns. Most I've seen is 3. So that's kind of annoying because that means you have to waste time. Now, to compensate for the fact that there are less helipads, there are these temporary supply nodes, which if you capture, you will refresh your supplies, rations and ammo, but only once. So that's actually kind of like a quality of life thing, but very clearly that's, you got to go out of your way to hit these so you have enough ammo to fight all these battles. And last, there are these Jupiter cannon things, which are these giant space-age artillery pieces, which are hella hard to brute force. They do loads of damage in an AoE attack, and do it from quite a long range off, so you have to be severely over-leveled to brute force them. Now, you can make them use their secondary weapon, which is just a machine gun, if you capture every node touching them. They cut off their power and have to go into like their secondary weapon, which is great, except that means you have to capture all the zones around it. Oh, hey, did we mention the part earlier where you often have limited heliports and you have one-way paths? So these whole maps are just nonsensical mazes to make you go out of your way rather than have any kind of difficulty. They just want you to spend a lot of time doing them.
Like, see, here's the thing. Like, all these gimmicks, I don't mind. Like, I think they're all cool gimmicks. I like them. The only problem is the way that they're executed makes no goddamn sense. Like,
yeah, all 4 of them put together is just frustrating. Because it's like, okay, so here's you see an obvious solution, right? Alright, so there's a cannon that's blocking me from the shortest route to the boss or the command post or whatever. So obviously, I need to go around and capture it. Oh, wait, I can't because it's behind one-way paths, so I have to either go through other cannons, which are also behind one-way paths, so you gotta go through the whole chain of things, or I have to wait 3 turns for a heliport to unlock and scooch over there and surround the cannon that way. Or you could just ignore the cannon and cut straight to the command post anyway by waiting 3 turns. It's just like, why? Why did you do that?
It's like, I think it was in like Arctic Warfare. There's like literally like, I think if you like, use like, it's just so badly designed, like the one-way paths. It's like, you're literally forced to go like a certain route. Mm-hmm.
And there are sections of maps which are literally inaccessible.
Yeah, literally inaccessible. You cannot reach them. I'm like, this makes no sense. This is like wasted space. Why?
Why are these even modeled?
Like, there are sections that you don't even need to go to. It's just like, I will say though, something that I did notice is the enemy count is a lot lower.
Oh yeah, no, at least for the first part playing it, once you get over or look up a guide, which I think this is the first time that like the Girls Frontline Twitter has been exclusively been like, hey, if you need to know what you're doing in Arctic Warfare, look up all these convenient guides. Because much like FGO, this is a game that's been out in like foreign languages for a year or two, I think, before it came to us. So, you know, they have these guides that are built up translated from like, you know, Chinese or Korean or Japanese or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first time where the actual English has been like, hey, just grab a guide, which I appreciate, because their guides are actually pretty good. But goddamn, if you didn't have a guide, you would spend so much trial and error and waste so much time dicking around. And it's really weird. We've said this before.
Yeah.
That Girls Frontline is kind of weird about how it wants you to spend time, because it's a timer-based game. So construction, training, repair, all that stuff is on real-world timers, which you can spend resources to have go by instantly. But it's also really grindy, because the way you get EXP is you play the game a shitload. So it's really frustrating that the game wants you to play it, but also not play it. And obviously the excuse would be, just spend money and buy resources and you can go faster. I don't really feel the need for that. Like, honestly, I was a little surprised, but once I abandoned the idea of spending gems on tokens, costumes, or anything like that, I have found that Girls Frontline actually gives you a decent amount of gems. I could probably buy an oath ring if I actually felt attached enough to any of my particular gun girls to get hitched. And I have been easily able to buy new echelons, buy new T-doll storage, etc., just cruising off natural gem count. Because I realized that I was like, oh, with all the new T-dolls I've been getting, because I actually got quite a few new ones, like getting, is it 1897? Whatever the shotgun model for Arctic Warfare is. That's really easy. You have to beat the first block of 3 maps, so 4 maps, and then you get her automatically. No
That's
S
something
rank
I
or
really
nothing.
do. I really like. There's like 3 separate like sections to the game, and you get the super rare after the first section, which I super appreciate.
And I got one of the 4-star rifles, like just on a random. I actually got a limited drop on a rando battle on one of the maps, which was cool. So it's just like, okay, so at least in this case, the distribution's pretty quick. But then it was like, oh, now I only have 5 slots free now. So I'm like, all right, I'll buy 10 more slots. I got plenty of gems. So now I'm up to 140. But yeah, it's just, the design of this is just really scatterbrained, and it's very frustrating because it's not hard, because some Girls Frontline content is hard. You have to have high level units, you need to have precise timing, some of it's completely random, and if you don't do it just right, you're fucked. This is not that. It just takes forever, and I'm like, God, it's not even takes forever in a fun way though.
Yeah, if I remember, I don't know, because I haven't finished. I'm on the last map in the first section. I haven't got Terminator Chan yet, because I'm taking my time, because I don't think I'm going to be going a whole long on this event for reasons. Mm-hmm. But
I mean,
yeah,
I went a little hard in the first couple days to get her, but after that, I'm kind of relaxed, because it's like, what am I doing? I guess I can get some extra tokens, or I can get some red envelopes. I mean, now there's a point ladder event, so, which I think requires you to play maps for some of the points, so I'll probably try to do that a little bit more. But yeah, it's not a very urgent event.
Yeah, but it's just oh god, you cut me off, so I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Shit.
Probably something to do with the timing, because we were talking about how it wastes your time.
Yeah, I haven't been going so hard because I'm not gonna do it for reasons. But I lost it. I can't remember what it was. Damn it!
I thought you had it back there for a second.
I was trying to get it back.
Whoops.
But let's see here.
Well, if it was important, you'll remember it later.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, it's if they had just taken the time to streamline these maps a little bit, they could have kept all my personal feeling is they could have kept all the gimmicks. It's just they needed to have more intelligent map design, because at the end of the day, this is supposed to be a strategy game. You're supposed to look at the whole picture, plan your routes, and make a plan of attack.
Manage your supplies, all that stuff.
Manage your supplies. So all these gimmicks that they have, they make total sense for what this game is. But when I have to stare at the map, because there are one-way paths everywhere,
when you have to simultaneously zoom out but also zoom in, because if you zoom out too far, you can't tell that they're one way.
Yeah, so I'm like the one-way path should have been, like, used in less. They shouldn't have, like, made, like, the Jupiter cannons, like, literal funnel points. There were a couple points, I think it was in the third map, where, like, unless you went completely out of your way, you could not get behind the damn Jupiter cannon.
Yeah, the third map was the one I mentioned, where literally the optimal strat, according to the guide, is you give yourself enough space so that nobody, like, pushes your teeth in, and you wait 3 turns until the heliport opens, and because you've got a free heliport back there, you literally, like, airdrop an echelon behind enemy lines, and assuming there's nobody in your way, you basically jog through a minefield, which is, like, 90% chance of being ambushes all the way to the command post.
That was bullshit.
Yeah, that's just dumb. That's pure waiting and then RNG, which is not great.
Yeah. So, like, I want these gimmicks to stay. I just want them better. I want better map design. It's like, heck. Because I like things when they are difficult and they challenge me. This is not challenging. I think that's the
I think that's our fundamental problem is we're both coming at this as it's, like I said, it's not hard, it takes time.
It's wasteful. It's inefficient.
Very inefficient.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not afraid to say that that's not good level design. Well, first of all, the guys who actually made this wasted their time. Like we said, there's nonsense nodes which go nowhere and you can't access. So, why did you put those there? That took you time and effort to make those exist in a way that we can't access them. Like, I kind of guess why some of them, because some of them appear in the very first map. I kind of get that's supposed to be, like, thematic, because the map, it's introducing you to the concept of the maps, but it's also, like, introducing you to the story of, like, we're alone in the Arctic, and there's enemies everywhere, what are we doing?
Except there's not enemies everywhere. I'm more worried about cannons than I am the actual enemy.
Well,
I'm more concerned about
how real life is. Arctic's scary.
Like, I remember I lost, like, because I'm not using a guide, because you know me, I like going in blind.
I tried to go blind, but after, I think it was on that third map, after a couple frustrations where I was like, I kept, like, looking at the map and trying to trace my path, and I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I looked at the guide, and it's like, just squeak him in the... Alright, okay, I'll just squeak him in the back. And then it became a lot simpler.
You see, I am fortunate. I do have, like, a full level 100 team with fucking...
You somehow managed to get, like, max leveled. I'm still chipping away. My top echelon is barely over level 80. And I feel like they're not inclined to go anywhere. I feel like it's so hard to get them those last few levels.
You gotta get the last EXP training for the simulation. Like, you have
I do,
to.
but they're not. The problem is I don't have enough echelons, which are high enough level in general, to fight that, because there's, like, 2 that are really hard and will completely kick your ass at start.
Yeah,
and then you've got to clean up, like, a whole shitload of, like, 7,000 or 8,000 teams, and it's like, well, if 2 echelons get beat to crap beating the 2 really hard nodes, then I don't have enough energy to beat the rest. So it's kind of like I need to, like, bring everybody up to par, which I'm slowly doing.
It's like, it's definitely a choke point, but once you can, like, reliably clear, like, that one...
I'm sure, like, because that's how the second one was it was a choke point for a long time, and then it was like, oh, finally, I have an echelon which can clear this, and then basically all my other little babies can hang out and siphon EXP.
Yep.
And I have a basically fully upgraded data room now, so, like,
yeah.
I am ready for surplus EXP. My god, if I get a max level team, that's gonna be, like, crazy good for those combat reports.
Oh, yeah.
I will use them to bully all content, and then it'll be like, oh, look at you, you're a little baby T-doll. Here, take all this paperwork.
But no, because, like, as I said, I have the level 100, so I can, when push comes to shove, brute force a fucking Jupiter cannon. That's what I did. Mm-hmm. Because I'm like, I'm not wandering around with this bullshit. That's
basically the only way you can brute force some of those later ones is, like, you know, max dummy linked teams at full level, which is good that you can. It's just,
I have a level 100 WA 2000. Yeah, I will, and she has armor piercing, so, fuck everything. Fuck this, fuck that, and fuck the cannon you came in on. I said, again, like, I don't want to give up on Girls Frontline. Like, I'm kind of on the wall about it.
Some of their events are okay. It's just, like, a lot of times when they knuckle down, it's just, God, this is really frustrating.
As we're talking about, like, story with Azur Lane, Girls Frontline lore and backstory is really in depth and stuff, but like what they have in like story quality, I think they kind of miss in personal touches for all the T-dolls. I don't know. I can't really say like I'm really in like I love I have a few dolls that I absolutely adore, but like I don't have like this like I don't have this overwhelming need to go like research guns and find out their history because they're guns. Like
yeah, the T-dolls themselves, like they have great aesthetics. They have very good designs, but they don't always have a lot of personality, right?
Yeah.
And
like what
the
I said,
game
like,
doesn't necessarily express them well.
Yeah. Like Azur Lane, like all the girls are like real ships that have done real stuff, and all that influences their personality and their behaviors and stuff. So you can see kind of that personal touch in their skills and histories and whatnot. Girls Frontline, they're just guns, and so it's like, here, we're gonna take this gun. It's from a country. Now this girl. Now she is also from this country. Go do stuff.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of them can be clever or can be well made, and some of them can reference various anecdotes and stuff, but they still do like feel a little lacking. And I think the cafe is supposed to help with that somewhat, but also the cafe is like you need to have costumes.
See, the cafe is weird because the cafe only works if you get costumes. That's the thing. You need costumes to do that.
Which, hey, I mean, I before they started a new gacha, I actually they gave you one of the event missions gives you like 100 tokens, so I had like 120. So I rolled twice on general. I got UMP9's like Valentine's type costume, which is cool because I got UMP45's like from the launch, so that's neat. I finally got a costume.
Yeah, like I do like that's the only gacha I'm gonna roll on now because I don't need I ain't gonna fight with fucking limited shit.
Because eventually they add the limited stuff to there. It just takes a long time.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, yeah, you still need those tokens to unlock that, because I think I got, because this, I had, I have 3 of the Halloween costumes unlocked. And they all told, a very funny story, but I don't know the rest of the story because I don't have the rest of the costumes. So I'm kind of, I'm gated out of finding out what happens next.
Yeah, because... and there are some interesting cases where, like I said, there was I got a costume randomly for a T-doll I don't have because she's a map limited drop. So I'm like, oh, well, I guess unless I grind that specific map, I'm just SOL.
Yeah, I have a bunch of costumes I haven't put on people just because I haven't put them in whatever echelon. Because that's the thing, to put a costume on a girl, you have to put them in an echelon, go to the dorm, and then
put
give them as a gift.
That echelon in a dorm slot that exists. Open a gift, give it to them. I've got a couple. I've got one of the types, the SMG. I don't remember which one she is, type 90 something, whatever, but she got a free Halloween costume, and I'm like, I don't use her, so I still haven't put her in an echelon to stick her onto something. And I got a couple others like that, and someday I will go ahead and just do that, just because I'll be like, I'm getting tired of these costumes in my inventory. But at the moment, it's not a drive. I boot up Girls Frontline, honestly, once a day, just because I want to get my logins and everything. And I will either do a quick round of EXPs, just, use my data, or I'll send out for logistics. I'll continue to try and build goddamn contender. By the way, I'm over 200 dummy cores just scrapping T-dolls that are not contender constantly. So I think I'm set for dummy linking for a long time. But I'm trying so hard. We have a lot of people in our community who's really trying to get contender because she's really cool. And I love her, and I want to hug her. But
I have all the curated.
The goddamn factory. I'm constantly throwing T-doll orders and parts at them, and they're just like, "Oh, here's another Astra. Here's an MP9 or MP5, and oh, you want another Grizzly?" I'm like, as I'm covered in Grizzlies, I'm like, "No, I'm good. Thanks. I didn't want that one." It's funny sometimes. It's like, Did you want 5 Bren 10s? No, I did not. I'm trying to, because everything in Girls Frontline has a backstory element. We've talked about this. Even retiring a T-doll is oh, you don't disassemble her. You just send her to civilian retirement. And you pull out her permission to shoot guns and stuff and drop all her dummy links, if she had any, and ship her off to civilian life. It's not a terrible process where you, like, throw them in the meat scrapper or something. You know, scrap iron. So I wonder what the factory order is supposed to represent. Are we literally just randomly filling out orders to the production team and they're just, like, throwing stuff at us? Like, where's my direct order?
I'm guessing, like, the T-Doll order is, like, the authorization to convert a civilian T-Doll into a military spec one. Because that's what the T-Dolls are in Girls Frontline. It's because the Iron Blood, the Sanguiferous, are the actual military-grade weapons in the system.
Which is why they have all your T-Dolls stuff.
They have future guns and stuff, and all your T-Dolls are actually repurposed civilian models. That are basically, alright, we're gonna make you really good at one gun, so we can maybe have an edge at this.
Which I said earlier was funny, because if they're civilian models, like, because they're carrying, like, heavy machine guns and assault rifles and stuff, and I'm like, then I joked, well, you know, with current militarization of police, you never know, maybe those guys need machine guns. Also, some of these are really old. Like, literally, I think as we were talking, there's the M1919, her gun base is literally 100 years old now. And still in use in some places. And by the time you get
that's
to...
what I'm saying. Like, these guns are still in use. And I want to say that you're fighting a guerrilla war, but I'm assuming that this current world state, making guns might be a little bit difficult. So you got to make do with what you got. That's the way I would do it. Is
that why there's so many junky modern, like, polymer guns, like USP Compacts and Bren 10s lying around? That would explain why 1911 is so common, because there are a bajillion of those. That's a gun that's over 100 years old and very well loved. But yeah, Girls Frontline is frustrating, but still, like I said, I play every day for just a little bit, and sometimes,
I gotta retweet this.
Very rarely, the game is in a good enough groove that I will actually play it a lot. Like, usually during those events where, like, where you have to beat bosses in normal story chapters and to get, like, drops and stuff for a store, those are usually pretty easy, so I play those a lot. Because it's good EXP grinding for some of your T-Dolls.
I said, like, I can't quit it. Like,
no, it's because it's
I don't
so
play it as much.
It's so close to being good, and it honestly doesn't take up enough of your time where you're like, this isn't. I'm wasting time on this game. You just don't play it then.
Yeah. But how long have we been talking about mobile games here? Specifically Azur Lane. Wow. Okay. Go us. But yeah, I think that kind of sums up our thoughts on Azur Lane and Girls Frontline for now. Unless you got anything else to add.
No, I don't think so. Sorry, hang on there for a second.
So I'm gonna go into anime here real quick because I need to apologize. I remember when we were talking about the anime awards a couple weeks back. I had mentioned that I didn't think like Agretzko really deserved like all this spotlight it was getting for. I had misunderstood what Agretzko was because I originally watched the 5-minute shorts Agretzko.
Yeah, some of which I think are like 60 seconds to 5-minute shorts.
Yeah. And I had thought Netflix had just taken a bunch of those, smashed them together, and threw them up. So I didn't. That's why I didn't watch them.
And I didn't realize you thought that. Otherwise, I would have corrected you.
Yeah, no. So, and I basically I was on Netflix because I said I bounce around between streaming channels. I'm like, I like some Agretzko. I'm gonna rewatch it. And then I looked at it. I'm like, wait, this isn't the Agretzko I know. No, this has a story. Oh, this actually has. I'm like, I was like, oh. I done fucked up.
It's an actual anime, which Netflix actually contributed money towards, so it is kind of a Netflix original.
Yeah. So I was like, no, I was wrong. And so everyone who I may have insulted with that, I am sorry. And I haven't finished it because I'm watching a lot of things right now. I think I'm only 2 episodes from the finish though. And I'm like, series. It's not a super long series, but oh my god, they changed the characters so much, but they made them fit a lot better. Now I can like see. Now I can understand why they say fucking Haida. They put Haida for fucking like best boy because goddamn he's adorable. You fucking dork.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wasn't like that in the original series, and like, oh man.
I feel a deep spiritual kinship with Fenico.
Yep. I can just think of like now I can just like giggle every time I think how she laughs. She's ha 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 ha. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, the character designs and their characterization in that show are so good.
Yeah, it's like super good. Like they definitely like took what was like kind of a, I wouldn't say it was a silly concept, but it was just kind of a relatable concept, and they turned it into something more relatable. So now I can definitely see why Agretzko is getting like all this recognition. Because I was ignorant. Ugh. I am sorry.
Yeah, it's real good.
As I like to tell people, being ignorant is not bad. It is staying in ignorance that I think is a crime or a sin.
Right, when you have a choice to educate yourself.
Checking it though, it doesn't look like speaking of fucking anime awards though, the voting has been closed. But they have stated that we can tune in live on Twitch on February 16th to see which ones took the win. So we still got...
Well, that is a Saturday. That's like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah. So, as I said, be on time. We'll see like exactly what... it doesn't look like they mentioned a time. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe we'll stay up
But we'll
late.
see. Hopefully they'll give more details soon. Something else I've been watching, that's already come out, which is also on Netflix, by the way, is, Seki K, the kind of slapstick comedy with, main character having fuck ton of psychic powers. And it's kind of silly. It's also kind of stupid, but it's entertaining. But something that something that has been, like, near and dear to me is actually the supporting cast. Specifically 2 of the main character's friends, even though he won't call them friends. Because it's one of those rare displays of when the main character is developed all to hell. Like, you don't need to know anything new about him. You know what you got. He has, like, a weird family, he has powers, and it's kind of a misanthrope. He doesn't like people. He wants to be left alone because he's psychic, and that's, harasses him. But you're introduced to some of his friends, specifically Nindo and Kaido. Nindo is the kind of delinquent-looking, stupid idiot. But you realize quickly that, he's not a bad guy. He's just an idiot. Like, he comes from a single-parent family. His, dad died young. His mom takes care of everything. And you just find out, all these little details about him as, the show goes on. Like, he's, friendly with kids. He likes to help people out. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to talk and breathe at the same time. It's horrible. And it's just told by, little interactions that, one time they go to a horrible ramen shop, and he's like, oh no, I heard this from friends, it's gonna be good. Turns out it's not good, and Nindo gets mad. He's like, what the fuck, why are you giving us this slop? He stands up for friends. And Kaido's the same way. Kaido is like a Chunimbo, 8th middle grade syndrome, where you think, you always see that in animes, and the character with the eye patch, the hand wrap, they say there's a demon in their arm or hand, there's a secret organization out to get them. That kind of character. But you realize, just watching him, that he's just kind of lonely and he wants friends. And he just doesn't know how to interact with people, so he just keeps defaulting to this persona he has. But you realize that he has, a strict home life where, his mom, basically forces him to study and tries to control his life. That, even though he's, super weak and, doesn't have any physical strength, he'll still stand up to bullies and try to protect his friends. And it's just it's moments like this I'm like, oh wow, that's really deep and insightful, because it's not so much about the main character, it's just the main character hanging out with his friends and seeing new things about him, which I really enjoy. I'm on season 2 right now, and as I said, if I'm not drowning myself on Warframe because I don't have a job, I need something to occupy my life. I'm usually have one of those 2 open. But as I said, it is a new core, so there is a fuck ton of new anime.
None
right
of which
now,
I've looked at yet.
Right now, if you need a good fucking comedy that like you just can like rewatch so easily. You have to go watch Kaguya-sama Love is War. It is like amazing. Like I've watched like several of the episodes like several times. Like I'm probably gonna watch the third episode just came out today. I'm probably gonna watch it again. Not just because that the fucking ending is fucking amazing. Like I posted a little bit of it in the in our anime and manga chat because it is cute, the animation is amazing, and the character is adorable. But so Kaguya-sama Love is War is about the main characters are the student council president and the vice president of a really prestigious school. So really prestigious school, you know, basically the governing body, they're really prideful people. But the thing is they both are into each other. They're just so full of pride that neither one of them want to admit it first. So they spend their time together trying to trick the other into confessing first. Because their mental landscape is basically whoever confesses first loses. Which, this is me being jaded, but I can understand the sentiment behind it. Cause when like, if you've been out in the, dating game, you definitely know that if you're trying to go out with something, you have to appeal to basically whatever their interests are. And, you know, kind of have to set you off so that they find you attractive. You have to go out of your way to present yourself. So in that kind of sense, that basically whoever falls in love first has to sucker up to the one that they fell in love with so that they remain in their good graces. It's like, there's kind of that in the real world, but kind of not. It's like, dating is not a simple fucking thing, or trying to find a boyfriend or girlfriend. Like, I can get into this for like hours on like dating psychology and shit. But I won't, because this anime is just good, wholesome fun. And you should watch it.
Mm. Yeah, like I said, I haven't really looked at anything going on in this season, because I'm still not caught up from last season. I got a couple episodes of Goblin Slayer to finish, and then I need to get back moving through Slime, because that's still ongoing this season.
That's still on. Yeah, Slime just introduced one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, I'll have to catch up so we can talk about it. And also, actually, to watch all of Goblin Slayer, so we can kind of like talk about that in whole.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were really keen on that, but I kind of had, I don't know, like an anxious week. Like, I've had a lot of like ups and downs with anxiety, and it's been cold, so I haven't been sleeping good. So, like, my time management and stuff has been a little chaotic. I really want to, sometime next week, I need to like know that sometime that week I'm going to sit down and start watching stuff, and if not get caught all the way up, at least get started working on it. But yeah.
Let's see here. What else am I watching? Sword Art Online, Alicization, still going. I think it's definitely, like, now that they have removed, like, basically all, like, harem components, I think a lot of people, don't have really, much to complain about it. It's literally Kirito and his bro going around trying to beat the fuck out of knights. So it's a lot of, like, fighting and action and swordplay and shit. And I enjoy it. Like, I'm still like, I haven't watched the latest episode because I literally got up, checked my phone, and Omega's sending me messages. It's like, hey, we're gonna record. I'm like, shit, that's right, we need to record.
We do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Anime.
Let's see, what else am I watching? Actually, my PS4 is on. Let me look at my queue!
The power of the queue, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's see here. I'm trying to pick things that I know. Let's see here. Oh, Mysteria Friends? Fuck yeah. So, oh god, I'm not actually entirely sure where this is set in, because Side Games has this thing where they do a fucking lot of crossovers with a lot of their shit. Because CY Games, you might know them most for Grand Blue Fantasy. They also have games called Shadowverse, Rage of Bahamut. They're recently coming out with Uma Musume, and like a bunch of other stuff. But they recently put down the money for an anime short called Mysteria Friends, which features the half-dragon girl Greya. Excuse me, everyone. This show had me at half-dragon girl. Okay. And her friend On. And the thing is from what I can tell, the original The original was Shadowverse, but I only know of Greya and Anne because I got Greya in Grand Blue Fantasy. She's like my favorite fucking character because she's just this adorable ball of cute and shy dragoness. It's amazing. I'm going to have to show Mega a picture of her at some point. Actually, let me see if I can figure out a picture right now. Greya, Grand Blue Fantasy.
I was thinking about Googling earlier. You mentioned it, actually. But you're going to go ahead and do it.
Where is she? I'm going to do it. I'm going to post this in Patreon chat so everyone can know the glory of Greya.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, she has like multiple versions. Like, whoops. It's like this girl is great. I love her. She is Mowafu, but I love it just because it's a good, like, simple. She's just a good character, and I love her, and I want to pet her. Oh shit! Something I need to mention. Fucking Mob Psycho 100 season 2 is out, and it has already gotten serious. Like, I don't want to spoil anything for everyone, but go watch it. It's good. Something I do want to talk about in length is Magical Girl Specs Ops Asuka. Meg, have you heard us talking about this one?
A little bit.
Yeah,
I think you actually mentioned it on air.
Oh yeah, that's right, because we were talking about the whole dark magical girl with PTSD. So yeah, I did mention it already. I said I haven't watched episode 3 is out right now. I haven't watched it. I'm gonna. But again, like, my only problem with it right now is for girls that like started this, apparently being a magical girl enhances your development in some ways, because these girls in middle school have bigger breasts than most women I know in real life. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Welcome to anime.
It's like, they only got bigger. I'm all like, please stop. I was like, I am a man who's attracted to the female form, but let's keep it in moderation, folks. Middle school girls should not have to be worrying so much about their fucking cup size, right? Jesus fucking Christ. Let's see here. Rise of the Shield Hero. Good. I finally kind of, like I said, I binged out the light novel. I haven't finished it because it got weirder at the end for me. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this.
That happens
sometimes. Yeah, but the anime is good. Like, I think you'll enjoy. I don't think you'll love it, but I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. It's in one of the things because I know you've been talking it up, so I figured I'd get into it. Like I said, I'm still behind on last season's anime, so it's like I need to go in and like catch up and then figure out if there's anything I want to watch this season, try out some stuff.
Yeah, so here's the thing, like, I want to talk like it's like I kind of want to talk anime, but I can't really talk because I'm like, Omega might watch this, so I'm just like, I'll just remind him that he needs to watch this.
I'll get to it sometime.
The Price of Smiles is something that I've mentioned before that I'm still watching. It seems like it kind of does a genre whiplash to you. Mm-hmm. Like, but with mechs, mm-hmm. Because like everything starts off all happy and good and feels nice, and then like end of episode 2 happens, and you're just all like, what the fuck? And then they're going into other bits. The Promised Neverland, they let you know what's going on by the end of episode 1, and then everything now then is just a fucking race against time, and it is good. I think you will actually like that one a lot, Omega. So you should definitely try it out. What other ones? I'm watching Dororo on Amazon Prime. It is good. It is a fucking classic manga adapted to modern animation, and it is good shit. Do you like blind, limbless swordsmen fucking shit out of demon monsters? It's right up your fucking alley.
That's a very specific desire.
But no, if I say, like, if there's something that you guys need to watch, like, right fucking now, it's Kaguya-sama Love is War. It's comedic, but it's good shit. I love anime. Let's see here. What else did I want to talk about today? Oh, I did mention, so, remember when we used to do, Where the Fuck is Ron on Let's Talk FGO?
Yeah.
Where the Fuck is Ron is, he's been playing fucking Warframe with me. Like, we've been playing it, like, a lot. Because I think I've told people, but Warframe, like, if it wasn't for Warframe, I wouldn't be here doing this show with Omega right now. I am, like, dead serious about that. Because Warframe was the game that I met Ron in, and that I became friends with him, and we started chatting. Ron invited me to the gaming group, which had, Omega, Marth, and other people in it. And I started hanging out with these fucks. And now 7 years later, here I am doing a fucking YouTube channel with Omega. And I'm still playing Warframe with Ron. That kind of makes me happy. Warframe is a game that I pick up and put down on occasion. Like, I'll play it like really hard for like 3 months, then I'll forget about it for 6, then go back to it. But every time I pick it up, Ron's right there. It's like, you ready to play some fucking Warframe? I'm like, fuck yeah, I am. We, Warframe just had, like, recently came out with, well, I wouldn't say recently, but been coming out with, like, open world maps, and you can do, like, things like gathering, things like fishing. So, so our modus operandi for Ron and I is, during the day, we, fish and chat and bullshit, and I scream fuck every time I accidentally shoot a fish with a gun instead of a fishing harpoon. And at night, we go hunt giant monsters. We do fight giant monsters so we can like get bragging rights. And we bullshit the entire time. Like, Ron and I are a specific type of player that like to talk while we play. Like, if you play like online games a lot, you know, like a lot of people, like when they're actually in missions or shit, they don't talk. No one talks. Everyone's like, get the objective, do the objective. When Ron and I play, we are talking constantly. And I think that's one of the reasons why we were able to become friends so quickly, because he would say something, I would say something, and we would just keep communicating. And, like, honestly, like, having people like that in games, it's like, it's fun to communicate with people. It really is.
Communication is key.
Yeah.
I'm, like, off-center on my microphone. Let me adjust that back. There we go. Hi, there I am. I was kind of just leaning back and letting you talk for a second there.
But, yeah, and, I think Ron actually said he was going to start contributing to our Patreon because he wants Omega to start saving up so he can get a compare computer so he can play games with us. Because I don't think Ron's going to admit it, but I think he misses you. Miss playing games with you and shit.
Yeah, he's a little salty. He probably wouldn't say it. But yeah, no, we've been friends for years, so that wouldn't surprise me. I miss kind of hanging out with him sometime too. I wish we could get him into games, but I feel like sometimes he doesn't want to play the games we want to play.
Yeah. As we'd like to say, Ron is kind of an art snob.
Yeah, he's literally an artist, and he spent a lot of time at college studying art, and so he has very critical positions on lots of stuff.
Oh yeah, I like back when like we were on Skype and shit, back before Discord, Omega and Ron would like literally have just an hour of discussion on just like on topics, and it was to the point where you just like no one else could just get in a word. Like you just have to sit and watch the back and forth. It's all like, oh okay, this is going on.
Yep.
And I said, like, anytime me and Ron had a discussion, if it wasn't like we're being friendly, it's us screaming at each other.
Yeah.
Whew.
You guys are my yelly guys.
Yeah, we are.
That's okay. You need some people like that. Ugh. Though, speaking of gaming,
but yeah, like,
actually, I got a couple directions I can take that transition.
I'll go for it.
Well, I suppose I should say the thing I have been doing with my time is still continuing my epic quest for Kingdom Hearts, because Kingdom Hearts 3 is soon.
Soon.
I think I've gotten we've shipped it yet email, but soon. So I beat Kingdom Hearts 2. That was great. I didn't like 100% complete it, but that's just because there was just a lot of grindy stuff and a lot of trial and error. Like, the data battles with Organization 13 are all, like, I double-checked and people were all like, yeah, no, even at, like, level 99, if you don't, like, get good, they can still kick your ass. And I'm like, okay, that sounds like a lot of trial and error for, basically 13 fights. So I'm like, I can come back and polish off those trophies if I want. I need to, like, keep moving in my cycle of recycling. And, I didn't necessarily want to leave Kingdom Hearts 2, but I felt like I had to, because 2 is really good. It is, so far, out of all the titles I've played, and yes, that includes the fact that I'm playing a new title, 2 is really the best of the franchise, I think, and just in terms of just how, at least by the time you get to Final Mix anyway, how well-polished and well-rounded it is. Like, gameplay never feels too hard. Like, yeah, there are some challenges, but, you can either give them a couple tries and get some rhythm, or you can kind of get the feeling that, oh, I'm just not leveled right for this. I can go do something somewhere else. Like, if you're barreling down the main story, you never feel, like, cock-blocked by anything, and in general, it's a very well-made system. The story's paced pretty good. Like I said, Oh, the prologue is so amazing, even today. It's so phenomenal. And there's a lot of really good bullet points. I also, once again, I joked with everybody on our Discord, I was like, so do you want to take an over and under on how long the Kingdom Hearts 3 final boss lasts? Because there was a whole phase of Xemnas I completely forgot. I was like, oh yeah, this happens. I completely forgot about that. Because, boy, that's really, really long and drawn out, and it's really rad, but it's, like, also completely nonsensical, so it's kind of like, oh, huh. So they got into Birth by Sleep, and, no, I do not, I'll say this, if you like Birth by Sleep as your favorite title, that's okay. I totally get that vibe. Some people are really, really endeared to it. From a game design perspective, I don't think I could call it the best, like I've seen some people do. So, now, I have kind of recently gotten into this, and, like, started figuring out the systems thanks to people explicitly telling me how to game the systems. But just playing the game, I had a real rough time starting out. It's like, the beginning of Kingdom Hearts is always a little rough before you get a couple essential abilities. But I'm playing through the game, and so at some point I get to Radiant Garden, and I post in our Discord, because I'm having a frustrating evening, and I'm like, so, is my HP bar supposed to matter, or am I just not, like, getting my defensive stats and abilities leveled up properly? Because the subtext is because I'm dying in, like, 3 hits, so, like, the HP bar's not mattering. And so one of our Discord members goes, oh, that sounds like you're having a hard time. Are you, how many abilities do you have? And I'm like, I have, like, 4. And they're like, oh, wow, you really should have, like, all of them by that point. I'm like, oh, so I am clearly not doing this right. And we had a long talk about it and figuring out, like, stuff like that. And just, it's interesting. I think that Birth by Sleep has a couple of issues. One is it feels like it obviously feels like it's designed to be mobile. It's a game that wants you to play it, but doesn't want you to just play it. You know what I mean?
Like, they want you to grind.
Yes, it feels very much like a game where they just were like, oh, you'll just pick it up on a train ride because we're from Japan and we're making this in Japan, so that's what people do. You'll play it for like a half hour or 10 minutes at a time on a subway during your day or whatever, and you'll play it a little bit before you go to bed. As a person making a conceited effort to go through it all, yeah, no, like, and it, like, grinding did not jump out at me as like, oh, I should stick around in levels I've already cleared the story on and maybe smash out some levels or level up some commands or something. So there's that. And then I think it has a problem similar to Chain of Memories, where the gameplay's very finicky. It's very, lots of things have very specific timing windows. At the very least, without, like, extra abilities, which are a whole thing, you have a lot of gaps where you can get interrupted by stuff, or your moves can get cut off. I feel like the auto-tracking for locking on isn't as fluid as it could be. There's a lot of times where I'll accidentally, like, I dropped a dash command, and that guy's already dead, so I dashed away in the completely wrong direction from the enemies, and now I gotta, like, spin the camera around wildly. Where the fuck am I? Like, I've lost track of where enemies are a couple of times when like, I've killed a guy so I de-locked or I haven't locked on yet and stuff like that. So it has these, like, really big, expansive design areas, which is cool, but they're very empty. You can kind of feel the burdens that this was originally on PSP, you know? But I managed to get some headway and just, start leveling up rando commands and slapping them together and getting new commands. And the variability of having to switch out commands a lot to level them up and stuff did kind of, like, make it more interesting to play, because it's like, hey, guess what? You need to acquire commands by going out of your way. You cannot just, people were talking to me like melding happens magically automatically. It does not. You have to go out of your way to start getting extra commands, and you have to make sure to level stuff up either by equipping them, even if you're not necessarily interested in that command, or, like, playing command board a lot. Command board's actually really good at this, because you can level up a lot of stuff. Also, command board's just fun. Like I joked, I'd buy it. Where's my standalone command board game? And actually, honestly, it's Fortune Street on the Wii. But where's future releases? Did it not sell well in America? Because in Japan, it's called Itadaki Street. I think.
Something.
I think it's straight.
But, like, no, like, if I remember correctly, like, Command Board, I think it was Command Board first for Birth by Sleep, and then they're like, no, this is actually amazing. Like, expand it!
But yeah, so, like, no, there've been Itadaki Street games for a long time. I don't know if they're necessarily exactly like Command Board. Command Board's really like that. Yeah. And it's super entertaining. And so it's okay that's a really good way if you have, like, lots of junk extra, like, spell commands you're not going to use, like, oh, gee, I've got another level 1 sleep. You know, a basic sleep, not like Sleeper or something. It's like, well, I guess if I want to fuse this into something, I want to meld it, I got to level it up. I'm not going to put it on my person to level it. So taking a little bit of time to make sure I'm, like, spreading stuff out, I've kind of, like I said, got a ball rolling. But that still means I'm basically going back and grinding in old maps I already cleared. So I don't think it's super well designed. The fact that all the melding is, like, to find specific commands, you gotta, like, go deep on, like, guides and stuff, which is not good that the game doesn't teach you this naturally somehow, right? I do think it's an improvement over Rechain of Memories because there's almost no RNG involved. Like, there's a little bit in the taste of, like, you can get certain commands from drops, but also you can just play the game more and buy most of them from Moogles, or play them on Command Board or whatever. And there's a little bit of, like, chance-based variance when you meld commands, but still your recipes are pretty set. It'll be, like, 90% of the time it's this command, and then 10% of the time it's this slightly better command. So it's...
Okay, by the way, I did take it out of Fortune Street. Actually, it actually is a very old game. It actually first came out on the NES by the person who designed Dragon Quest.
Yeah, it's an old game. Screen game. So yeah, I felt like it was older because I was trying to, like, because somebody said that it was Fortune Street, and I was like, oh, well, I know that came out for the Wii. Did they have any? No, there have been. Wait, no, there's a mobile version, I think.
Yeah, no, that's been out on the NES, Super NES, PS1, PS2, PlayStation Portable, the DS, mobile phones, the Wii, iOS, and PlayStation 4 and Vita. There's a lot of fucking games of just Fortune Street. Like, this is not a small game. Holy shit.
Export them more. Though I suppose I could just buy the PS4 version. Because no region locking! It would all be in Japanese, which would not be helpful.
Well, actually, I think they well, actually, I'm just recheck this real quick.
Well, I didn't think it was worldwide. I might have got it wrong, though. I don't know.
Yeah, they actually stated in 2011 the creator has been considering to bringing it to international audiences. And let's see here. The game was was exclusive to Japan prior to the Wii iteration.
Yeah. But yes, please make more because it's cool.
It is super fun.
But yeah, so it's really fun and entertaining, even though it's also like its own time wasting thing, etc. Yeah. So yeah, in
sorry, I didn't mean to derail. I just
I learned stuff. You were looking it up. But yeah, like I said, in good conscience, I don't know if I can say that, like I said, mechanic-wise, Birth by Sleep is super good. It's very, like, I would have had to play the game an extended time anyway to unlock more command slots, because you start with very few, which obviously means that's very few you can level up, and if you're actually playing the game, you really need one of those slots to be, like, Kiraga or something, because, goddamn, you still get your ass beat. I have managed to start unlocking more abilities, though, and stuff like that. And I got all the HP boosts you can get, and I'm trying to spread out more to get some more stuff. So hopefully it's not going to be so much of a slog. But boy, it was really annoying, and I bet it's going to be really annoying when I have to reset to another character and I have, like, different movesets and stuff. Which is a shame because, like, I'm glad that I was able to kind of make a progress there, because I really don't want to abandon Birth by Sleep like I abandoned Rechain of Memories, because I don't know the story. And it's actually super interesting to see this stuff in context and, like, actually get a picture, especially because I know, or at least I surmise based on trailers, that Aqua's coming back to be a big deal in 3, right? Like, they're wrapping that plot hook back around. So that's kind of important to catch up on that, because I never did catch up. Thanks, PSP. The voice acting is also super cool. R.I.P. Leonard Nimoy. Doing a darn good job playing Master Xehanort, though I feel like his body animations are a little out of case with his delivery at times. Also, this is a funny thing I noticed about this story. So Terra is our Riku analog with his, like, edgy tuku for school, I'm gonna be a loner. Oh, there's darkness inside me. How can people think he's like got a dark personality? Because he's a huge goober. Like, he is the most like almost innocent, soft-hearted guy I could run into, because he's all like, no, I don't want to be a bad guy. I'll trust I'll trust anybody, even that one guy who's definitely overacting way too hard. With his and his crunchy evil hands, you know? Like, you see Master Xehanort, you're like, something wrong with this dude. Like, he doesn't even have to speak. You can look at that guy and you can say, that guy's not right. And yet Terra's like, Master Xehanort, you're the only one in the world I can trust because you're the only one who's vaguely nice to me in a sinister manner. Everybody else is mean to me. So, yeah, that's kind of funny to me to, like, play through this story, and they're trying to, like, upsell Terra as, like, dark and brooding, but really it's just, like, he's kind of, like, innocent in a weird way, and his trust is being abused by dark people, which automatically means that for some reason his friends and teacher think he's a bad guy. But also, I get the impression that Ericus is kind of a tool. Like, even if you discount Master Xehanort as not trustworthy, he is kind of a dork. But I got that vibe. But I'm really interested to see the other characters and see how it goes. Also, I will say, talking about the voice acting for like Ericus and Xehanort is pretty good, and I guess Aqua. But I feel like some of the deliveries that Ventus and Terra give, at least in English, are a little stilted. I don't know if they were trying to make them match like lip flaps or something, because they feel a little stilted at times, which is weird. But whatever, it was a PSP game, so the engine's limited. Also, yes, Axe pointed out that Ericus is Mark Hamill, aka Luke Skywalker, also the Joker, and many other voice roles. It's really interesting to see that Mark Hamill got a lot of work done as a voice actor after Star Wars, and he's really good at it. But yeah, so I'm going to soldier through on Birth by Sleep, and then I think Recoded is all just cutscenes, so I'll watch that. Then I can actually pop in the second disc. Yay, discs.
One day I will get the story so far, but as I'm going to have to rely on whatever...
or the 1.5 million stories so far videos that everybody is making these days.
Yeah, I haven't watched a single one. Fuck these guys.
We should make a story so far. What we remember about Kingdom Hearts. Also, breaking news, Cesaren has posted a new a batch of GIFs for Azur Lane.
They're the one who does all the funny Azur Lane GIFs, and they have one of Amagi clapping with Kaga and Akagi with bumps in their head crying. It is now the official best one.
Mm-hmm.
Amagi is fucking precious, and I love her. And
yeah, I missed this the first time. I guess I just wasn't paying attention. But like when you first get her, because I generated a spare one, like I said, you know, she coughs. She's like, "Hi, Commander. Can we blow some stuff up?" I'm like, "Oh my god, I didn't realize how adorable you were." Also, I think Amagi is the only ship girl who has a theme song. Like, she has a boss theme that includes vocals. So she's got an image song.
Oh my god, it was so intense. Oh,
it's really rad. It's really cool. This is the first time I felt super invested in the story of Azur Lane. Like, Fallen Wings was okay, and there were characters in it I was interested in, but there was also a lot of, the sirens, we're in a black backdrop, and we're going to be mysterious and stuff, and I'm like, I'm getting real tired of those siren assholes.
Nah, this time the stakes were no, it's all about Amagi and relation to two other ships, and it's just like, oh, it's good.
Yeah. And so here's another. Talking about gaming was the other. I had a second segue for that, which was really funny.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were gonna go into that one first, but
I figured since we were talking about video games, I'd stay in video games for a second. So the other thing was. One of the things I've been doing while I've been playing Birth by Sleep is sometimes I listen to audiobooks or podcasts and stuff, and I got a lot of my podcast listening is done to actual plays, like actual recordings of tabletop games, which we produce, by the way, on this channel. Look for the playlist called Actual Play. Speaking of which, we need to record another one of those soon, by which I mean we need to game again soon.
Yeah, Martha's been asking.
He has been asking, but he's had bad timing. Like, the one time he said something explicitly, I was like, I think your computer was down at the time he asked it, and I was like, yeah, I didn't sleep so good last night, so I'm, like, all screwed up. It's, like, 3 o'clock in the morning. I've only had, like, one meal. I gotta do, like, chores and stuff. I don't know which way is up and down yet. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on today. But some of the stuff I've been watching is I've been watching some of, like, Achievement Hunter's Minecraft with Galacticraft series. I've been rewatching that, which is ongoing for them. I also got in that theme, so I watched some of Markiplier play Oxygen Not Included and some stuff like that, and I've been hunting for other videos. And so, hey, in case it's not clear, which it should be because I've mentioned it several times before, but I like space. I really like space. Space is cool. There's a lot of fun space stuff. Markiplier had a whole song about how great space is and stuff. There was like a remix they made of him wowing it. I think it was like Universe Sandbox or something. But this is a concept for something that I've always liked to do. So I was just watching some videos and I was like, I have an idea. At 4 o'clock in the morning as I'm trying to sleep. Let me sketch this down on my notepad. And then the next day, right away, I immediately started to sketch out this actual thing. I took a document that didn't go anywhere and turned it into this document which may go somewhere. And basically, I started a rough homebrew outline on a game of extraterrestrial colonization, which is called Explore, but the E is a 4, so it's 4Explore, harkening to 4X games. By the way, I really fucking love Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri. That's another great game. So I wrote an elevator pitch, and I figured I'd just read that on air to give people an idea. To kind of the outline for, like, what I got going on here. So here it is. This would be like the intro text to the game. You are a colonist who has volunteered for the New World program to colonize worlds beyond our solar system. You have just been awakened from cryogenic stasis on board your light hugger ship UNS Amerigo Vespucci. You and your colonial team are loaded into a North Star-class lander and sent to your accorded planet. The lander contains enough food to last you months, basic environmental scrubber to recycle clean air and water, ultra-high-capacity batteries which can last 3 months of continuous use, and a multi-purpose charging adapter, which can recover them from the lander's onboard solar panels or other sources of electricity, and a man-portable 3D fabricator which, when provided with the right raw materials, can assemble almost any device part by part. All of this is managed by the North Star's computer systems with a smart assistant AI, Eden, and an archived database of nearly every scientific topic known to humanity. Your mission charter is simple: expand the colony. Your primary goal will be to gather enough resources to build an uplink which transmits to a beacon left in your solar system, which will assess the colony conditions for the UN Colonization Office back on Earth. If you make a colony which can support you and your team, Earth might reward you with additional supplies, or send more colonists to expand a successful prospect. If you fail, prospects aren't good. It's unlikely that rescue will be sent to a dying colony, and even if you are recovered, you will likely be held responsible for the loss of untold millions in expensive equipment and possible lives lost. But the New World program is not always what it seems. Everyone has their own reasons to leave the cradle of humanity and join a possibly dead-end extrasolar colony, and at times it feels like the program is not well organized. Some of your mission equipment is misplaced or mishandled, almost like it's randomized. Similar with your team composition. The program doesn't necessarily cover all the bases the colony needs. And the planet you are assigned to is unlikely to be an idyllic world either. Eden is silent on this subject. The only people you can count on is yourself and maybe your team. It's time to explore. So yeah, that's my high level. And I've got a lot of design notes about my basic sketch outline about what I'm thinking about, like, how things work, which harken to various games you may have played in a video game form, but I kind of want to recreate in a tabletop form. So, like, colonists will obviously have, you know, a certain colony role or specialization, which may give them special abilities and stuff. One key element is that colonists also should have hidden agendas, so you have, like, a hidden goal you want to accomplish, which is mostly between you and the GM, and you do these to, like, keep your morale up, because otherwise your morale is going to degrade because of the space madness. And just kind of drives roleplay. And in general, honestly, the idea is to have a game that's RP very open-ended, but would have much more strict mechanical systems to kind of, like, compensate. So everything is decided democratically. The player colonists are the only authority, especially when you first start out basically climbing out of your lander on a planet which is partially randomized. So you have to decide what you want to build first. Something I wanted to do was, a lot of these games have, like, tiers or tech trees or research stuff. There's none of that in this. The reference I made in the design notes was you can try and build a fusion reactor using stone tools. Because the AI system has the blueprints for any kind of technology that humanity has access to inside it. So you can pull up the plans and figure out what resources you need to make anything. But you might not find it easy or time efficient to pour all your efforts into building something expensive and highly technological at start, right? Like, you probably want to start with, like, let's build some space tents, and, you know, get a regular food supply going and power generation and stuff so we can continue to live. And I have ideas for lots of different resource types. Like, some are refined, some are raw. Like, you know, you might have to collect metallics or silicates. Volatiles are a big deal in planetary science. Lots of other stuff like that. And you can convert them into, like, alloys, fuels, plastics, polymers. Colonists will need so much resources, like, hey, guess what? You need clean air to breathe if the atmosphere of your planet isn't breathable, and you need clean water. You know, potable water you can drink, and you need rations so you can eat. And your lander has enough food to last you a few months, but, you know, when you run out of food, what are you going to do? You got to have something set up. And there'll be, like, some tools will be for you, some tools will be other people. There's a lot of resource allocation in this. I'm expecting it's kind of got, like, a turn-based system, like, you know, X amount of time is like a tick, and so you would get so many resources per tick from your efforts, and you would spend so many on maintenance because you have to stay alive. And that would kind of cycle, and you can spend your time doing stuff. I have an idea for solving challenges, kind of like a dice pool system where you'd roll some dice. I feel like D6s, and then you'd like need to hit certain numbers and assign them to a task. The example in my design notes is, say you've got a guy who's got a broken leg. Well, that leg's not going to get better unless somebody rolls medicine to splint it. Now, your smart AI Eden can talk you through the process. It can show you all the blueprints you need and explain to you the science of setting somebody's leg. But it's a computer, which means some asshole has to at least do the physical act of splinting the leg. Which means you gotta roll, like, your medicine skill and hit a certain number and set it. Otherwise, that poor colonist with the broken leg is gonna be stuck with a permanent injury. His, how much, like, raw labor he can produce, or his health levels will be permanently reduced by the leg being broken or improperly set. And I'm expecting there's going to be a fair amount of RNG involved. Like, I want your planet to be somewhat random. I looked up a lot of
random tables.
Yeah, there's tables. There's going to be lots of tables. I love tables. I've designed a lot of planet types, so you might get lucky and you might get a garden world, which is like shocking Earth-like. You know, 58% ocean coverage, full-blown atmospheric systems, hydrology, geology, breathable atmosphere, has a biosphere even. Or you might get stuck with, like, a ice planet, or a lava planet, or an acid planet, and have to survive and figure out stuff. And the idea is that the colony doesn't necessarily, the guys throwing you out in a lander doesn't necessarily want to kill you, so there will be rules for the GM to kind of, like, adjust what supplies you have so you don't die immediately, and your lander's going to be really, really tough. So if you don't mind sleeping in your crash harness, you know, you can live out of the lander for a while. But some of these worlds are going to be really tough. And while I'm leaning more hard sci-fi, like, so there's probably not going to be sapient aliens, natives to, like, worry about. But there could be exoflora and fauna, which is either, like, toxic to you, like you have an allergic reaction, or it's actively hostile or something. Who knows? But yeah, that's my core idea, and I like the idea of just, okay, you're on a planet, you have X amount of starting resources, you have to pick what resources you build to first, and the GM is kind of the adjudicator role. He helps you keep track of what resources you need to spend. He would figure out, he or she. I say he because I'm me. I mean me. But you would need them to, like, figure out the right moments to, like, okay, a tick passed, random event, and, like, also to kind of, like, generate the back and forth with hidden agendas and kind of interact with that, and to play Eden and play the colonial authority, and eventually, assuming you live that long, once you build the colony uplink, which will be, like, you know, one of your possible recipes, you'll be able to, like, get new colonists who you have to deal with. And I like the idea that because you're first, the original player characters are almost always the most senior, unless one of you dies and you need to get a new colonist. So you guys are making all the decisions. So if like colony morale drops too low and you have riots, That's on you guys to decide how to solve it, because you are the space law. It's the space Wild West. Also, I think just because like I want to have a certain amount of randomization of like starting gear, I think there's going to be some interesting circumstances, because I definitely want one of them to be like a pistol, which is probably going to be a little funny if you open up your mission locker and you're like, okay, so in my personal effects, I have a med kit, I have some space painkillers, and I have a gun. Why? Mission control, why did you give me a gun? It was just in there. Listen, I don't make the logistic orders. It's just that's what was printed on your mission roster.
I don't care like anybody. I would personally. A gun is one of those. I'd rather have it and not need it and not have it.
Oh no, Axe.
Personally,
it would be a space gun. It would be something subsonic with like a built-in suppressor, so you're not gonna puncture any pressure holes. It's a space security gun. Yes. So no, if you run into like a space rhino, or you build military exoskeletons for some reason, your little pistol's not going to help. But if you need to shoot small vermin or shoot a fellow colonist in the back,
long live the king.
I mean that. I feel like there are some hidden agendas which are going to be shitty. Like, depending on whether you want to play a long game or a short game, you can definitely pick hidden agendas like, kill everybody. Hey, guess what? You're a psycho killer who has managed to get on this colony and you want to literally kill everyone. Because that's a space horror movie, which totally works. And also, like, I think there's, like, if you play longer term games, I wanted to have multiple ways of, like, succession. So, like, maybe you build cloning tanks so you can clone yourself forever. Maybe you build like an anti-aging drug so you can, live really, really long. Or maybe you just settle down and have kids who can inherit from you. Yeah, and like Axe is saying in chat, the intent is kind of that this can be flexible. You can run it short, as in just like, maybe a single one-shot or a few short sessions to like reach a certain colony objective. Or you could just play this indefinitely as a sandbox game, as like, okay, here's your planet, here's your random conditions, you guys got to spend your resources. And
here's a question: like, if you have like reached like a certain level of technology, could you like just make plans to launch yourself in another colony ship and go colonize another planet, or are you just like keeping it like?
No, you could definitely. That's definitely a thing, because that could be, just interplanetary travel could be a way to get resources you don't have access to. Like, if you get stuck on a rocky ice planet, which is spare in minerals, you're going to have to, like, figure out, how do I build probes to go mine asteroids or something? And definitely you could be like, let's colonize other planets in this solar system, or let's, build our own light-hugging spaceship and go to a completely different solar system and colonize there. But I really, like I said, I wanted to kind of do this kind of, like, interposition of, like, hardened mechanics, like, lots of different subsystems you can build, specific tools, structures, vehicles, whatever, and lots of open-ended RP, because, like I said, you can, whatever the colony votes to build, you guys can start working on building. So it's all like, okay, there's 3 of you, here's your specializations, here's your starting gear, you have XD months of food between the 3 of you. And if you want to get more food from space, you have to build a colony uplink and be like, send us more food! So, get working.
Get good, scrubs.
And sometimes you'll feel like you're completely fucked. You'll roll a lava planet and be like, okay, so we have to spend like the first week inside constructing, temperature-resistant spacesuits from our raw materials so we can go outside, or we need to build space drones. And other times, like I said, like, hey, maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you'll get a garden world, which is, it's just like Earth. Except everything here has 6 legs and is poisonous. And shoots lightning out of its eyes. And then your research will probably be, okay, so we need to build the autoguns from aliens. Yeah, and so it's still a high concept. Like I said, I've worked through a lot of planet types that I think I'm set with. I don't necessarily know how to organize them, if I want to alphabetize them or do it by type or whatever. And I also haven't calculated exactly how many numbers it is. If it's not an even number, I'll have to make up some more to fill out RNG.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. And then it's basically, the idea would be basically just hammer down kind of like core mechanics, like how I want to like because I think I got the basic dice mechanic down in my head. I just figuring out like what the scale is, and then it's, you know, make up some colonist rolls, figure out some basic starting equipment, and then just go from there. Also, yeah, Axe, like I said, the intent is to be harder sci-fi, so, like, unless your GM wants to go out of their way to adjust the game, you're not going to, like, run into ancient alien space weapons. Like, maybe there's a little bit of mystery because there's, like, you know, the kind of stuff where your colony questions, like, hey, wait a minute, doesn't the colony uplink have to send messages back to Earth? Shouldn't that take limer years? And they're like, don't ask these questions. Just order more food. We need more food because we're on a Mars-like planet, so we have like no biosphere yet, but we have a shitload of rock and metal and stuff like that. And yeah, the idea is that basically, like, if you want to build something, it can take resources in, and then there'll be upkeep, and then there'll be output. So, like, say you want to build like an inflatable greenhouse. You want to build a little greenhouse bubble. That will take so many maybe raw and refined materials. Like, you'll need something to be like soil. You'll need like polymers to be the actual bubble part. So that's how you build it, and then you'll need to power it. So it needs so much energy in, and probably so much clean water in per tick, which is what I'm calling the time units ticks, whatever that turns out to be. And then, but then, you know, it'll put out so much biomass per tick, and then, or it can even be like, and that you can like configure it for food, so you can be like, all right, so it grows XT amount of biomass per ticks, and then like every 4 ticks, you have a harvest season where you automatically convert it to rations or pharmaceuticals, which will be a resource type, so you can like, you know, solve problems with drugs. Some things will be expendable, like I said, like I mentioned, like space painkillers. Like, that's probably a thing you can do to be like, ignore how bad you feel because you're slowly dying inside, and shoot up with space painkillers. No health penalties for like a tick.
Booyah.
And then there'll be I want there to be a lot of either structured or random events, or just examples. Like, maybe there's an earthquake and some of your structures get damaged. You need to spend so many man-hours fixing them. Because that's I think one of the resources that you have inherently is labor, which is generated by colonists. And sure, you can build robots to do it, but it's mostly you. So there's only so much work you can do per tick. So you need to prioritize. Like, thinking stuff, that's not hard. Just assembling stuff out of the fabricator, that's not a big deal. If you want to like raise a barn, that's a lot of labor.
Yeah, so you are gonna have like space animals, you know, to domesticate and stuff, right?
Yeah, they can. If your planet has a biosphere, they can be that. Or you could like, you know, build an animal cloning lab and order like, hey, can we clone some cows down here? And they're like, sure, Moo. We'll send you some cow. We'll send you some cow DNA to start with.
Moo.
And cows produce meat and hydrocarbons, volatiles.
Fuck that. Let's just make meat vats. Just grow meat.
You can also do that. Clone meat. Maybe that hurts your morale a little. Is it just me, or is clone meat really boring? That's a resource type I like, is that you need entertainment to basically buy back up your morale, your stress, keep your stress levels low. That's the one thing the colony has nothing of inherently. Like, the data library is full of scientific texts, not, you know, the archive of all mankind's artistic endeavors. That maybe is something you can build later, like if you have a big colony. That'll also probably encourage role-playing, like maybe there's a free amount of entertainment you can generate per tick by just choosing to sit and socialize with people so you don't get space cabin fever. By the way, I'm going to use the objective space a lot writing this game.
Space!
Space gun, space armor, space Australia. But yeah, that's all. That's really all I got. Like, I could talk through the design concepts for a while because it's fresh in my head, but there's nothing concrete yet. Though, speaking of, like, alien space animals, there was a note I wanted to put in my design notes that was, like, you can decide if you want to destroy exotic alien biomes from raw materials or if you want to try and live, like, a low-impact green lifestyle. Like, it's probably less resource-intense for you to build, like, a gas generator that's just, you turn volatiles, stuff like methane, hydrogen, you know, hydrocarbons, into fuel and just pour gasoline into and generate electricity. But, you know, you might not want to do that because that's going to generate pollutants and stuff and possibly change the nature of the planet. Maybe you want to build clean hydrogen fuel cells, Well, hey, guess what? If you don't have a lot of easy access to hydrogen, you got to build something to build that, and it's a whole thing. But ultimately, I think the restriction I want is resources, not like tiers or tech trees. It's what can you afford to upkeep every tick, which is probably another rule that GM has, which is to like advise people like, hey, if you're gonna build that nuclear power plant, by the way, just remember you're gonna have to put every so much. You're gonna have to put radioactives in here, which are rare, and you're gonna generate a lot of wastewater that's radiated to keep it cool. Otherwise, it's gonna explode, which will be bad. And you're like, okay, we got to make sure to keep that fed. Which is where, like I said, where the moral choices come in. Like, it's like, what if you get sudden winter and half your crops die, and you're like, well, shit, we don't have enough food to feed everybody perfectly. What do we do? And I think actually, because we've talked about like game design types you like, Lucky, I kind of figured you would enjoy this type of idea of like space survival.
Oh yeah, I totally enjoy it because like survival games where you build like as Omega knows, base building is one of my favorite fucking things to do.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite. This
will totally have base building.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm totally on board with this. I've been I have the doc open, reading over, just like it's some tables, it's some high level notes.
Mm-hmm. Which planet do you least want to be stuck on? Do you think? There's a lot of shitty ones.
Like, probably chlorine.
Yeah, that's bad.
Like, that's acid. That's like acid. Like, garden, tundra, campion, swamp, jungle, ocean. Like I played a fuck ton of Subnautica. I can make do with some fucking ocean world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Aryan and like all that stuff. Like, I can think of stuff. Like Lava Planet. Oh, guess what? First thing I want power. Boom. Thermal generators, boom, thermal resistance. It's like drones. It's like volcanic. It's like build like want greens. Well, we're just gonna have to build some buildings, heat resistant, doing toward greenhouses, shit like that. But I look at like fucking chlorine. I'm like, what the fuck can I do? I need like water filtration systems. I need like that. It's like, god damn.
Yeah, there's two acidic types, vitriolic and chlorine, which have different biome types. Both of which are like. Okay, so these atmospheres are theoretically breathable, but they're not really because, like, the chlorine one, hydrogen chloride vapor turns to hydrochloric acid when it comes in contact with water, which, hey, you're 80% of.
Yep.
And similar with the vitriolic, which is a sulfur planet, which has oceans of sulfuric acid. So, yeah, those are not fun.
Yeah, the acid ones are the ones that, like, everything else is, like, yeah. Like, honestly, like you saw these things, like, immediately, it's like, unless it's like, if it's anything like one of those, like, immediately, no, I have to build, like, first thing is, you build survey drones. What do you have available nearby? Then you build suits, so you can explore yourself.
Oh, actually, that's, then you will definitely have, like I said, everyone's going to start with, like, whatever the Mark 1 spacesuit. I think I'm going to call it the Colony Activity Suit, aka the Crash Suit, because...
Oh, is it going to just be one of those general, protects you from all environmental effects? Yeah, it's going to be
a general purpose, like a latex spacesuit thing. So it's not super bulky. It's not good for real extremes of temperature, but it'll protect you from, like, most solar radiation. It'll protect you from, like, cold and stuff, poisonous atmospheres. It'll have an oxygen bottle or vacuum. It'll be waterproofed, so, like, acid rain isn't a problem, but you can't go swimming in, like, a lake of sulfuric acid.
Ugh, that scares me. Well, yeah, but still, like, first thing is always robotic probes. Like, I need things to go out somewhere and see shit. Then it's, what resources you have. Like, fucking... Oh, God, no, I take that back. The worst one? Fucking, Selenian. Dead World.
Oh, yeah, the moon?
Yeah.
It's like, just what the rock. Fuck? There's no metals. There's no atmosphere. There's a shitload of volatiles if you dig deep enough. Yeah, like, arguably even, like, some of the cold ones are really shitty. Like a Ymirian or Plutonian, which are, like, distant and icy. But they at least have raw materials.
Yeah. Like, as long as, like, for me, like, the thing is, like, can I get enough resources to maybe make, space mines? Like, is there, like... Because here's the thing, you mentioned these planets, but, like, do they have satellites? Do they have moons? Do those moons have, resources?
Yes.
Because...
Yeah, no, because that's the whole point, is, like... maybe you'll get a planet type that's not rich in something, but there should be able to get there. And like I said, because there's no tier locking, you can jump straight to like trying to shoot probes into space from your launcher if you need to.
It's like, but it's all dependent on like what I like. No matter what the situation, I think I'll be able to think of something. Mm-hmm. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's coming up with ideas. Whether those plans those ideas get executed well, that's another thing. That's usually up to RNG.
Yeah.
This is infamous with the cat. It's like, yeah, I have a great plan, and we ended with blowing things up. God damn it.
Oh, I see you've rolled 5 threats all of a sudden. Well, something terrible's gonna happen. Shit.
Yeah, I'm super interested in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will continue. Because I love space so much, I feel like this is one of those ideas that's not necessarily going to go away for a while. Now that I have a concept, I think I can chip away at it. And like honestly,
but I'm telling you right now, every time I play this Omega, I'm going for female-shaped robot girls every time. You can be part of my labor force every single fucking time.
Well, I mean, I've already thought about this. There's going to be probably some jokey ideas like, let's build a casino. Because if you get a big enough colony, I mean, you need entertainment. Why wouldn't you build a space casino? Space Trip Club.
I'm gonna build AIs.
Space Stadium. For Spaceball Team. So much space.
Here's a sport that you can play by yourself. Basically, you put a ball in the tether, and you just whack it with a stick. And the ball is on a infinite expanding string that just rubber backs. I mean, you have to catch it. It's fun. It's entertaining.
Good old stickball.
Good old stickball.
But yeah, that's like that'll be like at some point you'll have serious morale concerns because it's not just like once your colony starts expanding, it's not going to be just like 4 dudes camped in a lander. It's going to be like, okay, we have a couple dozen people in some space huts. We're starting to get cabin fever real bad, and like maybe you've got like a Hephaestian world that's like really hot, or like a Martian world where the atmosphere is not breathable. You're like, it's not like we can just go outside for a jog. So what do we do? And if your morale gets too low, then there'll be like maybe random conditions will creep up, like I said, like riots, like discontent. Maybe an NPC will become the psycho space killer, and that's when you need space guns. I'll have to figure out what the damage tracking is, but there's going to be a couple different space guns. Just because this is one of those things that meets my love of space and also gear porn, which is just like, I can just come up with all kinds of utility things that you can build which do stuff. And then once you've got a lot of examples of stuff, it's just playtesting to like round out, are these numbers right? Like, does building something really complex like a nuclear reactor or a fusion reactor feel like it's putting out the amount of power for how many resources it took?
Energy waste.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out a good way. Like, there's going to be like waste products, like also, physical human waste, but also like sometimes you'll make garbage from food. But you can turn that around if you have like a compost heap or like a recycler or something and turn it into other stuff. Like biomass, which you might not have a lot of. Listen, there's a lot of recycling in space, guys.
You gotta make do with what you got.
But yeah, so that's everything I got on that. Did you want to talk about Torchlight some? I know you took some notes yesterday.
Yeah, so my big game is not actually a system, it's actually a scenario. Have I talked about Torchlight on What's Up before?
You may have mentioned it as your concept, but not like in detail, I don't think.
Alright, so spoiler alert for Torchlight, because I'm going to talk about some of the higher level concepts, and this is totally going to be spoiling it for Omega, but I think he'll enjoy it fucking anyway.
I'll live with it.
Yeah, so Torchlight is my concept of a game where I'm basically mashing Silent Hill, The Division, and Lovecraft together. So I haven't really while Mega has been talking this entire time, I've actually been working on the document because I'm like, I need a high level elevator pitch, but I haven't finished it. So guess we're gonna just have to go through my bumbling. So the initial premise is in the United States, in Colorado, there is the town of Torchlight. It was during the gold rush. It was one of the many mining towns that popped up in the area as the American people went fucking gold crazy. But unlike most mining towns, Torchlight was spared the inevitable decline by changing their focus from a mining town to a tourist trap. They were blessed by being nestled in a valley that had some very, very good skiing mountains nearby, and so they were able to capitalize on the resort and tourism and, promote that kind of country flair. It developed into a fair-sized town, but you're not going to find any major store brands, but, most of the residents would say it's good enough. Unfortunately, that all changed when, about a month ago, the town of Torchlight went dark. Not in a physical and communication sense. A giant cloud of darkness and or fog having completely enveloped the town, and no communications have been able to get in or out. Local probes by law enforcement and civilians have only led to more missing people cases, and the situation known as the Torchlight anomaly has attracted national attention, with scientists coming from all over the world. All over the country, and some from even the world. A lot of people are interested in trying to crack what happened. Unfortunately, no one has made any headway with this because strange things keep happening in the area around the anomaly. There have been attacks from strange beasts that no one can describe, people hearing voices going crazy, and even a few more people going missing. The national government, seeing that this is becoming more crisis than curiosity, have decided to assemble joint forces with several military branches and scientists to try and make a determined push into the anomaly and find out what's going on. You and your player characters are part of this joint task force. Thank you, I remembered it. God.
Thumbs up.
Into this. And that's where I have right now for the pitch. There's more to that, but I gotta write it. So basically, I'm gonna give away a lot of the opening here and some higher level concepts. So basically, how the game is gonna open is you're gonna be part of a convoy traveling through the Rockies. You basically left from Carson, a military base, traveling a convoy as you head towards the Torchlight anomaly. Almost immediately shit is gonna go down. You're gonna find yourself separated from the convoy. It's just gonna be you and a small team of members, and you have to somehow make your way through this dark and depressing forest, through an abandoned mine to get to the town, and shit's gonna get real. I don't want to spoil too much about it, but one of the concepts I really like in games is there are just some things that you cannot do no matter how good your dice rolls are. That's one of the things that have always irritated me in a lot of tabletops, when people's oh yes, I have so many bonuses here that there is nothing that I cannot do. I just have to roll the dice, and all of a sudden I can lift cause even though I have this minimum strength score. I'm no, stop that. And so that's one of the concepts I want to introduce there are some times when you literally need to run away. You will die otherwise.
That's a very classic Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned the joke, which is not a joke, actually, by the way. Cthulhu eats 1d3 investigators per round.
Yeah.
Because he does.
So, I'm not gonna, start off, that heavy, but there are gonna be, you're gonna be, armed with, I said, depending on whether you're, a military, if you're a military person, you're gonna be armed with, conventional weaponry.
Hi.
And let's see, and you're gonna, wait, what'd you say, Omega?
I said hi.
Yep.
Let me check the date on this. By the way, because I've had a character made for this in all.
Oh no, I have it saved. Felicia Santiago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have her saved right here.
Where is my origin date on this? Is the creation? I guess the way it was made in 2017 first, so it's been almost 2 years. Year and a half.
I haven't given up on this. I just haven't gotten enough players to actually, make me want to sit down and actually fully flesh this out. That's the problem. But you'll find out, the creatures, the initial creatures, well, they ain't gonna, fuck you up in one town. You'll find out quickly that conventional weapons aren't gonna work on them, so you got to escape from them. Which then puts me into the second thing that I really like in fucking video games is cinematic sequences. Giant chase set pieces where there's a bunch of shit happening and things are crazy and you're running for your life.
Yes, I built this character for this.
Yeah.
I'll
let
you finish and then I'll talk a little bit about my character because she's been made for like a year and a half, like I said.
Like, I was talking about, like, there's gonna be a scene, like, there's gonna be a section when you're going through the mine where you're gonna come under attack between a big bad and you can't fight it. So you basically have to, like, make an escape through this abandoned mine, like, while you're running, like, in the dark. It's like, you're running, well, you won't be in the dark, you should have light source. Like, I'm trying to give people enough tools so they won't, like, an outright fail, but, you know, you have to,
well, yeah, because think. You've also talked about how you hate the, like, controllable helplessness, too, because...
Yeah.
Even if it kills you, there should be situations where you can, like, do stuff.
Yeah. Like, so, like, already, like, in the mine, like, if someone's, like, engineer base, and there's gonna be, like, an old, like, engineering room where, yeah, you can turn on the fucking lights. The machinery might take a little bit of work, but you can do it. There's gonna be, like, you know, oil lamps, or, like, torches, or, like other sort of thing, and so you don't have to go in the fucking dark. But, like, so options, because that's what I want. I want to present options so people can do stuff. But, like, when you're doing this, you're not supposed to fight it. You're supposed to fucking run. And the thing is, like, while you're doing this chase scene, the creature is, like, while you're running, like, you can do things, like, maybe, you split up, like, because there's gonna be multiple paths in the fucking, mine. I'm not gonna make any of them, like, a flat-out dead end, because, that's just, I'm not trying to outright kill anybody.
Right, that's like Dark Souls type design, where, like, your death is intentional.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm gonna get more back on that, but like there's different paths you can take, and like depending on the path, like maybe there's like a door you can close, or that, you know, slow it down, or maybe a fucking burst right fucking through. You don't fucking know, depends on the door. Like if you take if you're able to, like, you're doing a real fast run and there's like a sudden turn, if you make like a skill check, you can take that turn at full speed and not lose any speed, but the fucking creature will just crash into the wall and have to wait. You know, stuff like that. You know, stuff that makes things, like, intense, cinematic, things with flair. Because one of the things I don't like about Tabletop is when everything is just resolved in a dice roll and no, like, real effort. It's like, all right, I'm gonna run away from this thing. I'll roll dice. All right, I made it. I ran away. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, how?
I mean, yeah, I think that's why we've tended towards more narrative games.
Yeah.
Over time, because just you instinctively want to add flair.
Yeah. And it's like, so
like that.
Yeah. So, like, say you, like you say, you run through a passageway. Do you want to take a moment to, you know, barricade the door so the creature takes a little bit of time to get through? It's going to take you some time, but who knows, you might save it. Like, do you want to do those kind of things? Like, I just don't want this, like, flat chase scene where, you know, you just run away and somehow you get away. You know, you have to do things to keep, like, and every, like, kind of section. I think that's how I'll do it. I'll do it in, like, sections.
That's probably a good thing. That works because Nemesis is based on the one roll engine.
Yeah.
That works as, like, you know, get X width or X height to clear a section kind of thing, which I've seen people use a lot. Like, say, okay, to run through this section of mine, you need to get a total of, like, 5 width, so you need to roll. Because one roll engine is a match-based system, so you need to roll a total of 5 matches. But because there's a lot of, like, say, shit in the way in your tunnel, you gotta roll, like, you know, a 2 or better every time. Otherwise, you fail.
Yeah. But, so, like, yeah, so, I'm still, like, working on the fine mechanics of that. But, yeah, so that's, like, and like I said, and, like, once, because I've pretty much, I've almost finished the prologue. I gotta, like, redo some of the stuff, because especially for the mining tunnels. There's gonna be 2 sections. There's gonna be, well, take that back, there's 3 sections. There's the initial part, where you get separated from the convoy. Some shit happens there, I don't want to spoil that. Then there's the initial part of making it to the mining tunnels. And then there's the mining tunnels, which lead to the town of Torchlight. See, the problem is I don't want to railroad my players too much, but I don't want them to deviate too far from what I have in mind, which is honestly really, really hard.
A mine is a good setup, because that's kind of a railroad, but kind of not, because it's like you're in a tunnel. Where the fuck do you expect to go?
Yep.
I've had that issue before with, like, trying to get people to go places. Geologic barriers are good for that.
Yeah.
You know, oh hey, you need to get to the base. It's at the end of this canyon. Well, I guess we'll go through the canyon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's lots of usual tricks like that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm working on. Once you actually get into the town, you'll find out that shit's fucked up. There are monsters in the streets. people have like holed up into little conclaves, and each of these little conclaves have very different ideas of how to do things. I'm telling you right now, when I run this game, it is going to be a dark and mature game. It's not going to get full on magical realm, but
this bridges into like a gaming philosophy thing, which I don't know if we've talked about explicitly on mic before, but it's I don't know where it originated, but there's a concept which people like to say is called lines and veils. So lines you do not cross, veils we abstract. So like somebody as a player might say, okay, I have a line, no on-screen child murder. Like we can find a dead body of a kid, but I don't want there to be anything about a kid getting stabbed while I'm playing. That makes me uncomfortable. Yeah. And you're like, okay, we'll work around that. A veil is like, I don't mind if children get murdered on camera, but let's not go into detail. So let's, we fade to black, we abstract it, we just say, oh, that poor person got stabbed, they died. And we kind of like move on. So that's like an important thing to concept. So what you're talking about is like, there aren't a lot of lines per se, but you're also not getting into like, oh, we're gonna get into like gore porn. Look how explicit this is.
No, like, one of my ideas. Freaky stuff will happen. I said, like for one example, one conclave is made up of just women for reason, and they have a very, very high distrust of men.
Oh, hey, I solved that problem. Yay me!
Yeah, and that's one of the interesting things is because you're a woman, you'll be able to gain their trust that much easier. And maybe, vouch for other men. But, like, if there are no women in your party, they're going to be like, no, you can't come in. Just no. And you have to
What if I'm unconscious because I've been shot in the gut for something dumb, and some idiot tries to drag me there, and I can't say anything? Who knows?
What was that?
I was joking about a hypothetical situation where, like, my character was unconscious or unable to respond, but was physically present.
Honestly, they probably still like let you in, but they wouldn't let the men in until you gain conscious and you can vouch for them. Because people have these conclaves, they'll have guns. They've been needing to defend themselves, but then you'll realize that they're at odds with another conclave, which is men and women, but they seem shady. They seem to think like the ends justify.
That's why I have melee knife.
And ends justify the means. And there'll be like other branches of stuff, and each one of these is going to be like a quest hub where you do things and you slowly start to piece together what's going on in this town. And, you start making headway to the final source. But here's where this is where I'm going to throw a fucking twist into it. Because I'm not sure like how much I want to do this, but I really fucking like the concept. After so many days, the elder god or whatever final boss is gonna fucking wait. The world's gonna end and game over. But guess what? It's not gonna be that much time. You're not gonna have that much time to solve this. But because of this crazy situation that you're in, every time the elder god awakes, you're thrown back in time to the point where you first enter Torchlight with your memories and abilities intact.
That's neat. Oh, that reminds me of something else I want to talk about, which wasn't on my note card. I'll get to that later.
So basically, like getting to the town, like the point from like losing the convoy, getting to the town, that's the prologue. Once you get to that point, you basically are put on a timer. I haven't decided the exact time frame yet because I want people to be able to make good amount of progress before the reset.
7 days.
That's like I'm actually that was what my first thought was like a week, but I don't know because if you're like amazingly fucking lucky, you might be able to do it in the first pass. Like I don't want to be able to discredit, but you have to like make all the immediate right choice. But if you do like long awakens and you go back, you have your abilities, but things won't be the same anything. Like things will be a little bit more weird every time. Like the monsters that you fight like out in the street, because that's gonna be a thing. Like street side encounters or like monsters like shit, Silent Hill and shit. They're going to be a little bit stronger. They'll kind of scale with you. Like, combat is going to scale. People will change slightly. People will seem a little bit more weird or distressing or friendly or, like, more
also,
like
I'm assuming if our memories are intact, because Nemesis is a system that is vaguely like Call of Cthulhu or Delta Green based, it's just in a different mechanics. There's, like, madness and stuff. There's, like, insanity effects and hardening. So all of our psychological damage, I assume, will carry over.
Yeah. So if you reset too many times, you're just gonna go fucking insane. and you're not gonna do it. So it's like so that's why I need that's why I want like a good amount of time before resets, because if the resets are too close together, like the PCs are just gonna go fucking insane too quick, and they're not gonna have a chance. So like this is the main problem I'm having with writing my scenario right now, is finding good balances between everything I want. Because I said, like, I have to write, like, honestly, like, the more I think about this, like, God, I wish this was a video game.
I'm picturing in my head. You've described this. I'm picturing the video game version of this. I can see the mine shaft. I can see like the hubs and stuff.
It's like, oh my God, like this is more my love of video games, and I'm trying to translate this into basically a text into text.
God, yeah, no, I mean, I've just literally spent like I don't know how much describing my struggle with that and space, and I've done that before with other game genres. Just like I want to capture this electronic format in something that is only powered by human pencils, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And random dice numbers.
Because that's the thing. So insanity is gonna be a big thing. The reset's gonna be a big thing. Quest hubs, the quest hubs, because like I don't know, like I like the fact that like if you go, because I think that's gonna be like that's something I want to make integral. Like these quest hubs each have their own story of what happened with them, and like figuring out like, because I'm trying to make this kind of a mystery. There are a bunch of pieces everywhere, and it's up to you to gather them up. So maybe like one run, like you super focused on one conclave and you got their fucking whole story. Then the second reset, you decide, no, I got everything I needed from this conclave. So you go to a different conclave and get their side of the story. But then once you have both stories, you realize something between the two. And on the third run, you're able to like force a sort of resolution that gives you information that gets you closer to the solution, gets you to the final solution. It's like, as I said, like for me, this is like a very highly ambitious project. Like holy shit, like what have I decided to do here?
Well, I hope you just get on with it, because like I said, you pitched this apparently sometime in 2017 first, and I immediately made a character because hey, I don't get to play games a lot. I mostly run games.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm the guy with all the direction and the free time to like write whatever and work forward to it. So I love playing games too. It's just I don't get to do that much.
Yeah. Access sounds like seeing some intense modules. Like, see, the way I'm building this is I'm trying to build this in dedicated sections.
Yeah, honestly, the way you want to do a sandbox game like that is you want to make like you write out a explicit like, okay, here's everything you need to know about the blah 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 faction in this part of town and this stuff, and you write the whole bullet points, and then it's just like, okay, we're here, and we just, when we ask questions or when we do stuff for them or build trust or whatever, it's like, okay, you hit another segment, you find out this bit.
Mm-hmm. So the first bit is just the prologue section. The second bit is going to be the city section, which is going to be a huge chunk, and then I'm trying to think of like two more sections. Like I think like
well, so there's probably got to be a climax, which is just, okay, we've got all the stuff we need to put the thing in the room, and we need to sacrifice, we need a virgin to bleed on it, and we need to say stuff at the right time, and then we'll solve this problem, maybe.
Oh yeah, like one of the big things over here is going to be the human condition and what it is to be human, and how far are you willing to go for whatever. So there actually might be some sacrifice. There might be some corruption.
Well, at this point, I would like to remind you that I have a whopping 1D in empathy, and only 2 dice in equilibrium. Actually, if you don't have anything specific, should I just really quickly cover my character so we can stop talking around her?
Yeah, go for it.
So I wrote First Lieutenant Felicia Santiago because you said they could be military people. So her backstory is already pretty short, but just the abridged version is she was ROTC, then did a tour of duty as a scout sniper in Afghanistan. She's noted for having positive shooting people from a long way off skills, and not necessarily hearts and mind skills. So now she's back home as a reservist. She's splitting her time between community college, she's a poli-sci major, and she had a day job as a security guard until somebody tapped her for the Torchlight situation. I noted that she is constantly picking the wrong week to quit smoking. And her hobbies include PT, more PT, hunting, and reading airport paperbacks of any genre. And like, it's funny you mentioned like the division thing. So I'm just thinking of like the aesthetics because, like I said, I noted in her description that she's got like a 50-50 shot of being dressed like an army jock. You know, t-shirt or tank tops, fatigue pants, combat boots, or business casual, flats, slacks, button-up shirt. All my skills are in, well, not all of them, but almost all my skills are in physical stuff. Like, if I remember rightly, I went the route where I had really solid stats. Like, I have a very good body rating, a very good coordination. I think, yeah, I've got 5, which is the maximum a human can have without special things, which may play into that corruption stuff you're talking about when you let us buy unnatural powers later.
Mm-hmm. That is definitely a thing that's gonna be happening, because, like I've already said, there is some Lovecraftian shit here, and you can become less than human, or more than human, if that is your flavor.
So, like, I've got a little bit in, like, athletics, brawling, endurance, so you're talking about all this, like, running and climbing and stuff, and, like, yes, I'm there, I'm solid. I have a little bit of driving and Humvee. Hey, guess what I bet I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
My best skill, I think, is firearm rifles, though, so that's great.
And so there's definitely going to be opportunities to shoot things, just you're not going to be able to shoot everything.
Yeah. People, though, I can solve that problem.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got a little bit of knife, got a little bit of brawling, got a little bit of pistols. Got a little bit of stealth. My sense is okay, but it's mostly like sight and search. Got a little bit of minds, but I don't have a lot of like, I don't remember what all there were, but I don't have a lot of the technical skills. I just have a broad like education dice pool. So if I need to do basic math or remember what the U.S. Constitution says, I can maybe remember that. You want me to do rocket science? I can't do that. And I have
so like again,
my one weak point is empathy. Like I have a decent command score and I have a little bit of leadership and a little bit of psychology. My equilibrium is okay, which kind of pairs with those stats. I have 1 dot in empathy, and I have 2 dice in the empathy skill called resist, which I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming it's like resist, like social attacks or torture or something like that, which makes sense. So I have no social skills, other than, I guess, leadership a little bit. So people are not what I do, other than ordering them around. I shoot people, and I run, and I carry heavy things, and I drive, and that's... I figured that was a good character design to take. I would be that person.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when we were talking to Ron about this, he was leaning towards being kind of a science type, but I don't know if he ever got off his ass and actually wrote anything.
I know I harassed him a few times about it, but...
Well, if you're ready, go ahead and harass him more.
Yeah. I'll probably start harassing once I got the prologue, like, set and final, because I'm not going to worry about the whole, like, quest stuff until I actually get to that. So, unfortunately, how this game is probably going to run is, I'm going to finish the section... We're going to run the section, we'll save everything, then I'll write the next session.
That's fair. That's how I did most of our Eclipse Phase campaign that's probably never going to get finished.
Yeah, probably.
Because I haven't written all of the 3rd section yet. I'm still like halfway through Act 3. Which is a terrible shame, because it's really great. You guys are like a chapter into Act 2.
Mm-hmm.
We got through 1 act. And, you know, Ron's available. If he feels like it, we could always grab everybody and go, let's do it. But I don't feel like that coming anytime soon. Especially considering the game I really want to try and get off the ground is L5R, other than Mages of War, which I have thoughts and feelings on.
Thoughts and feelings! Excuse me.
Alright, so we've been going for almost 2.5 hours.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is one thing I wanted to mention really quick. I don't know if I'll go into detail now, and then we can go ahead and wrap up, because, well, I want to go pee. And there's no point in pausing the show if we're just going to be done in like 5 minutes anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing that I did kind of early this week, or was in the middle of last week, I think I mentioned it, I wanted to go back and hit up some webcomics. So, just on a lark, I got interested in rereading Narbonic by Shannon Garrity, which is real fun to me because it plays around with like themes of like mad science and stuff. So that's always really an interesting concept to me that I've played around a lot. Lucky will recognize that heavily from my Wild Talents setting.
Mm-hmm.
Where mad science was very much a theme.
Dr. Ram.
Narbonic ended in, was it 2006? So yeah, I probably drew a lot of inspiration from that at points. But that was really good. And then I continued and I caught all up on... It's not a proper follow-up comic, but it's set up in the same universe, and it follows in some of the themes and plot hooks from the previous one, which is Skin Horse, which is really cool, but I just powered through that. The reason why your reset thing reminded me to talk about this is because there is I won't spoil the details of it, but there is a storyline which is like that. A character gets exposed to like some weird quantum shit, and basically every time he dies, he resets to just after he touched the weird quantum shit, or his mind does. So he has to get out of a life or death situation by basically having a real life respawn and just trying over and over again to, figure out the perfect route to get all the information he needs to get out and everything. And it's a super interesting read. But that's in Skin Horse. And so I've been caught up with that. It's a daily webcomic, and I've already talked about how I kind of don't do that anymore, like reading them all the time. So I'm probably going to, I think they're in a climactic point. I don't know how close they are to the end, but Skin Horse is definitely like ramping up to a climax. So maybe I'll wait a few months and then, finish it. Because, like I said, adding another thing I have to do every day is kind of hard. But that was just fun to me to go back and read a lot of these. And if you have some time, try them. Narbonic is complete, and if you go to the website, you can, if you've already read it, you can read it with the artist commentary, which is always super cool and actually lucky. Other than the fact that it has like long-term spoilers, you probably find it super interesting because if the artist Shannon doesn't have anything interesting to say about the comic, she's mostly yelling about herself for her bad art. Like, oh, I drew my ears. I love the jokes in this strip, but I drew my ears too big, or my hands are really weird. And stuff like that, and that reminds me so much of conversations / rants I have heard from you about doing art, especially the hands thing.
Oh yeah, God, the thing I'm working on right now is killing me because of hands. Jesus fucking Christ.
But yeah, so that was just a quick bit. Webcomics are a really interesting genre that I like a lot. I just don't have a lot of time up for anymore. But I got into them when that was super 100% a thing in the early 2000s. Like, I was all up in there.
Yeah,
I read Bob and George, which I mentioned, which was a Mega Man sprite comic. 8-Bit Theater, a classic. VG Cats.
VG Cats, Mega Tokyo.
Mm-hmm. Before Mega Tokyo got, I guess the impolite way would be, got too far up its own asshole and I had no idea what was going on anymore.
Yeah. I actually have a Sad Girl in Snow blanket. I used to have the Ninja hoodie, too. I bought merch from there. It's cool.
I mean, hey, it was the designs were good, and the art was pretty good for a webcomic at the time. It's just, it was one of those things where it started as, like, I'm just going to draw a casual webcomic with jokes and stuff, and then it was like, now I'm writing serious, sad relationship drama, but also there are giant robots, I guess, and magical girls? I don't know. So it got a little convoluted.
Real talk, it's very anime.
It is.
Sometimes it's just like, what is this? What is going on?
Narchronic was another one about that time. I don't read questionable content anymore, but I read a lot of it. That's always interesting to see that guy's art evolve over time.
Oh god, I remember that. Is it still going?
Probably. Well,
I remember I used to read that
my webpage auto-completed. Yes, he is up to strip 3,925, copyright date 2019. So yeah, he's still going.
Oh my god.
It's two robots talking to each other, by the way, which I don't have context for off the top of my head, but you want to talk about wild genre swerves. Remember that was about two dudes in an apartment talking about hipster music? So that's another thing that's gone off on kind of like an interesting twist that like I said, I don't follow it much anymore, but it was there, and that's I really like webcomics, and I'm glad they exist. It's kind of like they're almost like a precursor to the stuff we do now because we have an internet entertainment business.
Mm-hmm.
And lucky if you ever want to get off your ass and draw stuff, we can totally start a webcomic.
I am not starting
I know, I'm kidding.
Well,
that's a whole thing. That's like drawing like weekly comic strips for the papers, right? That's like a whole investment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's all I had to say. It was really quick, and I figure we can just go ahead and wrap up because if you don't have anything else to mention, because I've hit all my bullet points on my note card.
I'm pretty sure I can like drum something up, but nah, let's call it good.
All right, cool. So, if you like this episode, give it a like. It's really important, just in general, but also it makes you feel good about yourself. You liked something. Also, don't be afraid to leave any comments you have in the comment section down below, or join our Discord. That link is in the description. You can join in conversations that spawn these kind of things. You know, talk about your memories. What were you doing in the early 2000s when everybody was like, have you heard about this webcomics thing? Or what's your quest to Kingdom Hearts 3 looking like? Stuff like that. And of course, if you are new here and haven't already, please subscribe. And even if you're already subscribed, don't forget that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video. I do know that because of the slightly later recordings and longer recordings, the posting of these has been a little bit more chaotic because computers. So, always good to know when we post something. And, like it says at the front of the video, don't forget to consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to this episode early for as little as $1 a month in a little downloadable format that goes right on your computer. You can listen to it anytime. No need for internet connection. You can put it on your phone. And it would really help us out and help us buy underwear and computers and anything else we need. I know. I don't have anything coming up, but if I ever have medical bills, that'll be a thing.
Oh, God.
So, support us. Help us out. Make our lives less anxious and full of joy, and thus we will produce more content and your life will be full of joy. See, I made it philosophical at the last minute. I've kept the What's Up promise.
Oh, my God.
All right, well, this has been What's Up for the week. My voice immediately started to get scratchy, so let's go ahead and turn this off before I horribly die or something.
I'm gonna go play Warframe.